cats?
Yeah, I got one. We got a cat. All right, Michael, let's run this shit. This man got shit to do. He got a call. My wife's got to go to church. You know how it is. All right, in 3, 2, 1. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of MIGHTYcast. I am your host, Demetrious Johnson, and my co-host, good friend, Michael Wansover. We got a brand new guest. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this guest doesn't need no introduction, but me and this man go way, way, way back. This man is a man who got me into watches. This man is the one who got me into jewelry. He is the former UFC welterweight champion of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, give a round of applause for my good man, Tyron Woodley.
What's up, my G? How you doing, brother?
I am doing good. Doing good, T-Wood. It's funny. I never forget when you're like, man, you dressing okay. You dressing okay, but you need to get yourself a watch. That's what you need. It's a man's accessory. You get yourself a chain. What did my black ass go do when they go buy a watch? Now I got a chain. Now I got 3 watches, all Rolex and AP. Why you do that?
I think what I did was I told you it's okay to trick yourself. Because you're such a family man and you're such a person that just understanding. Like we were a good balance because I didn't give a f. I was all over the place with shit. Gucci, everything, Louis, everything, jewelry. You know what I mean? I was running through M's like Mario and Luigi. And you were more so thinking about the long haul. So I think we were even balanced. Like I was focused on making sure I got the top dollar every chance I got, every sponsorships. And you said, man, just win the fight. You know what I mean? So I feel like we was a happy medium because at the end of the day, you do deserve to treat yourself. You do deserve to have nice things, especially when you buying gold and shit. Like now you understand that's kind of an investment. You know, some of those Rolexes you have probably, you know, appreciated quite a bit over these pandemics. So yeah, it was kind of the yin and yang.
Yeah, I mean, those are good ass times. Good ass times. I'll never forget when we were getting ready to fight in Canada and you were hustling so hard. You're like, I got this sponsorship, I got this one, I got this one. I was like, dog, just win the fight. And he goes, oh, I'm winning the fight and I'm going to get paid. Don't you worry about it.
I lost my fight, didn't
I? Yeah, you did. But you know what? Rory McDonald was such a very different athlete at the time, right? You were more explosive. You had way more finishing rate, but he was just so tactical. And like you said,
he froze me a little bit. And like
exactly,
I've been frozen in fights, and I don't remember like Kamaru Usman fight. I don't remember Kobe Gilbert. All those fights was kind of a blur to me. I was kind of like walking in a nightmare. But that fight I remember. It wasn't like I was frozen just because I was like an out of body experience. He was really focused on the fight. And that's when I had brought Dude Wife to the table. That was the first time they ever observed. We went number one on Twitter. I think I had like over $120,000 in sponsorships, which, you know, at that time was unheard of. So I was focusing more on that, and I thought I can do both. He didn't do any of the embedded, any of the roles that I can got. They went up to his door. He opened it and shut it. He was just stone cold serial killer, like focus, right? So he put me in a position where I can just tell he had good tactics. And anytime somebody asked me, the toughest matchup for me always was going to be Rory McDonald because he's a big body. His timing was really good. He got that from training with George. And he put me on the end of his punches where if I threw a big bomb, he always had his left hand up, ready to shield for overhand. But then he just kept point fighting me until he could find the opening. So it was a tough fight. And I think the focus of that fight wasn't really there for me because Dana told me to fight this motherfucker, which I told you that he was the toughest matchup. I already knew it. Fight him in Vancouver his hometown. If you fight him and beat him, you fight for a title. I said, bet, let's get it cracking. I get there fight week. They tell me, hey, you know, the winner of this fight is not fighting for the title. Actually, the winner of Robbie Lawler and Matt Brown is fighting for the title. So I think that mentally, I thought I shook it off. I think we talked about this. I thought I shook it off, but I don't think I really did. It was still in my head. I'm like, I'm coming all the way out here to fight this motherfucker in his hometown. It's a way tougher matchup than Matt Brown, and I'm not gonna fight for a title even after this fight. So, fighting and winning is the goal. Any young fighter that's watching this, Demetrious Johnson had that. He always focused on fighting and winning. You hear him talk about the Xbox sponsorship back in the day. You hear him talking about just going out there and winning. And Dan Lambert echoed the same thing. He said Tyron, you can make as much money as you want to, but when you fight and you win, that really solves all the problems.
Yeah,
right as the cat behind your head.
No, that's all I know. That's Bella. She do what she want to do. She do what she want to do.
Name?
Her name's Bella.
Bella, all right.
Yeah, Bella Kimura Johnson. The boys wanted that cat, and they're really big into jiu-jitsu right now. And so, you know, Tyron and Maverick kind of went together on, like, let's name her our favorite submission, which is Kimura. And then Tanith wanted to name her Bella, and then last name Johnson. So Destiny was like, all right, Bella Kimura Johnson. We told my buddy, he goes, damn, you got her birth certificate too?
Social security number, you know what I mean? I don't think I'm paying your taxes.
Exactly. All right, I want to take it back to the beginning, man. Okay, so I remember the first time we met, you know, when I looked at your body, I was like, okay, this man needs to be in NFL. This man's got quads like a running back. I mean, your structure is short. In the beginning, when you were growing up in high school, I know you wrestled. Middle school, when did it all start for you? Like, what made you the athlete that you are today, the specimen?
You know, a funny thing is, I've been an athlete since I was 10 years old. Damn. And I never took a break. So after I fought Jake those couple times, that was the first break I had ever taken in 30 years.
Damn.
I don't mean like, okay, like I never had an off season. I've been in one sport connected to the next sport. I've never had an off season for 30 years. So I was a football player. I was a strong safety. Was a running back, and I wanted to play football in college. And my broadcast couldn't afford no college. So when my coaches started playing favoritism, said, oh, don't worry about him. He's going to wrestle in college. I never played no wrestling in college. So then I turned up the savage on wrestling because obviously some of the recruiters, some of the D1 schools that wanted me to come and give a try for football, you know what I mean, they were kind of pushing them to other athletes. So long story short, I've been an athlete forever, and I've been an explosive athlete forever, and I really didn't learn sound technique until college in wrestling. I was just a football tackler. I used to hit people hard. That's where I got my nickname T-Wood from, actually, because they used to say you're bringing the wood, pause. They used to say when somebody hit somebody really hard, like I used to knock people's helmets off, and I was tiny, but I was mighty. There we go. I used to hit people very, very, very hard in football, and that's all I wanted to ever do is play strong safety, go to the NFL, and buy my mama a house. So I had that same explosiveness to throw a right hand, the same explosiveness to run through with a double leg, but my work ethic and my muscle memory was nuts. Like I would drill stuff over and over again because I didn't have the money to go out to these wrestling camps. So I'd buy the VHSs, and I would get these like Granby School of Wrestling. I should buy their VHS and like the John Smith low single. I had all these tapes when I was younger, but I didn't have no coaches that really can show me how to do it. So I used to drill on my sisters, drill on my friends, and I actually became a perfect rapper.
Damn. Now, so you did all that, then what transitioned you into, so you went to more of the wrestling route, and then how did you transition into mixed martial arts? Like, did you find a gym? Did you watch it on TV? Like, what?
No, I never watched it. I never watched it. I never watched it. I never knew none of these guys. I never knew none of these fighters. I didn't know what Pride was. Like, but everybody in my college, they all were obsessed with it. So it was Ben Askren, Michael Chandler, all these guys that was just loving MMA. So when I got done coaching, I stayed around. I was a graduate assistant for 2 years. So now these are my teammates. Chandler was a freshman my senior year. Ben was a sophomore, I think, right?
Yeah.
So we were in college and beating each other ass every day, wrestling, and they just had a lot of respect for me because I was always the best wrestler, but I was always the best wrestler in the room. Ben was always the best wrestler on the mat. But in the practice room, I was the Olympic gold medalist. Nobody ever tell you anything different. I promise you. If you ask Ashton, if you ask Chandler, it was just something about the competition, right? I would never be shitty. I would never go below my level, but it was always a little bit more I could have gave, right?
Yep.
So those guys kind of amped me up to do it. So they were calling me, hey, what's up, coach? I said, motherfucker, don't call me coach. I'm your, like, we was just teenagers 5 minutes ago. So I got uncomfortable being called coach by, like, people that's, like, 2 years younger than me.
Yeah.
And so I said, if you want to call me coach hot sauce. So instead of them not calling me coach, these motherfuckers called me Coach House Sauce. So it was a fight. No, technically me and another coach started punching the bag. There's a punching bag in the weight room, right? So we started punching the bag every day. When I say it was the worst shit you can ever see, we was so terrible. I was throwing these little pinky out ghetto punches. My coach was, I don't know what the he was doing, but you don't understand, and the fans, you'll get this. If you never box, if you never fought, and you go again in front of a punching bag, I want you to punch that punching bag as hard as you can for as long as you can. I guarantee you 99% of you guys are going to last 60 seconds, right?
Yep.
So I was in the 99 percentile. 60 seconds, I was tired. Then every day we started doing it. Then it got to the point where I can punch the bag. And I'm not claiming good technique, but I'm claiming power and nonstop for 7 minutes straight, right? So that was like, I wanted like competition. They was like, man, you should fight. And at that time, I was just like, you know me, I was graduate assistant. I was coaching these guys. I was they all looked up to me. So I said, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. So I went down to this little, this guy named Jeff Powell. He had a fight December 15th. I went down there December 1st. And I was like, hey, man, I heard you had a card in 2 weeks. You know, can I fight in this card? And then he looked at me, and then he looked at this poster behind him, and he said, is that you on this poster? It was a wrestling poster. I said, yeah, that's me. He said, yeah, well, then you can fight. So he said, you got a place to train? I said, no, I was just going to wrestle with my teammates and then go out there and fight. He said, come here tonight. So I went there. They threw me on some boxer that was trying to knock my head off. I didn't know what the fuck to do but slam him. Yeah. So my first part of my career, I got into it because these dudes amped me up to do it, right? And then none of my fights lasted more than a minute. I was just swing hard, knock them out, or slam them and get them out of there. So I had 5 fights in 60 seconds. Then Eve Edwards had a buddy named Lynn, who's a really good friend of mine now. Lynn found me on MySpace.
MySpace.
MySpace. And I did a wrestling camp that was called Nation's Best Wrestling Camp. That's just the name, as you know, right? To him, this is the best camp in the nation. So he saw me on the camp brochure. He saw John Smith and all these other guys as camp clinicians, right? So he saw I also did 1 or 2 amateur MMA fights. So he hit me up on MySpace to train Eve Edwards. Eve Edwards had lost to Joe Stevenson. He was #1 in the UFC at one point in time, but the wrestlers had infused into MMA, and he couldn't deal with them. He couldn't stop the shot. So they hit me up. I was like, I had Ben. I said, Ben, the motherfucking name, hit me about some dude named Eve Edwards. You know, they asked me to train him for. So you know Eve Edwards? I said, no, I don't know the fuck nobody here. Like they was like giving me this whole rundown of pride. So long story short, they gassed me up to go do it. So I went down to Houston and I started training Eve Edwards, and I basically helped him turn his career over and basically taught him how to defend a shot, how to take a shot, and introduce him to high-level wrestling. I went from doing that to training Thiago Alves, Jesse Cavalcante, Dean Thomas, which actually ended up being my coach. I became at one point probably the #1 wrestling coach. I was actually kind of the op. I was teaching them how to stop the background that I came from. So I was in Team Quest training. I was in American Top Team. I was at Alliance, Shrimp Couture. So for 2 years straight, I was bouncing around. I was a bag of bones. You know, I was really just a beat up dummy, right? People know they couldn't stop me from wrestling. I was in such a great shape. I would just take them down. My first sparring session ever in American Top Team was Thiago Alves. Damn, I remember watching him kick motherfuckers in the leg, and I'm like, motherfucker. They're like, go in there with him. I'm like, well, all right. So my first sparring session ever in ATT was 5 rounds with Thiago Alves. And I'm telling you, at that time, he didn't wrestle that great. Yeah. But I didn't strike that great. So it was nothing but me trying to take him down for 25 minutes straight, him kicking me in the leg, kicking me in the head. And I just remember like, damn, do I want to do this? Like, because I'm a coach, but I wasn't really a fighter. I was just kind of around with it. Yeah. And then it clicked over, and I said, I'm going to give this shit a try. So I've really got an MMA as a wrestling coach. They just gave it a try. And if I give anything a try, I'm going to give it everything. So that's how I got into the sport.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This podcast is sponsored by G Fuel. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know we love to have that extra pump in the gym. And for me, I like to take G Fuel because I like that caffeine that I get with my creatine. It feels good. One of the flavors you guys can give a try is the delicious bubblegum flavor. And then also we have the hype sauce. Give it to me, baby. Give it to me, baby. Boom. If you want to try these beautiful flavors, all you got to do is go to gfuel.com. Make sure you use my promo code MIGHTY. That will save you 20% on your complete order. I can't get enough. So if you want to try G Fuel, just go to gfuel.com, use my promo code MIGHTY, and that will save you 20% on your order and get your pump on in the gym when you're lifting weights. Or if you are playing video games, I like to have my stuff when I'm playing Escape from Tarkov because I need absolute focus looking for them rats and them scabs. Let's get back to this amazing episode of the MIGHTYcast with our guest. Wow. It's almost kind of like Misha Tate's story because same thing. She's at college, hanging out with her friend, and her friend was doing, grappling and a little MMA.
I remember her from wrestling. That's funny. I remember her wrestling.
Yeah. And then she was like, you know what? I'm going to give this a try. And then everyone's like, oh, you're really good at it. You should try it. Gassing her up. And next thing you know, she does it, and then now it becomes her full-time career. And it's crazy because I remember when you and D. Thomas had an amazing relationship because at one point I felt like he was your head coach. Like when we would travel together, you guys would bounce ideas off each other. I would talk to him. I would talk to you, be there for your fight, supporting you. And I felt like you guys always had a good yin-yang. And it's crazy. I didn't know that it goes back to you being a wrestling coach for these guys. Coach. You were his coach. That's what I mean. You were his coach. He's Edwards, Taco Alves, to help these guys coach. And you're like, I'll give this a try.
You remember Kami that would end up being like the head coach at ATT for a while, Kami Brazil?
Yeah.
So yeah, the reason he got there because I was supposed to train Thiago Alves, and I still train though. Mm-hmm. I was supposed to be his head coach when he fought Matt Hughes, right? Mm-hmm. I broke my hand in a fight. I had my last amateur fight. I broke my hand in. I still went there and I trained him with a claw the entire time. But Kami came in from Team Quest, yeah, and they used to always joke me like, I'm like, Kami, I was telling King Mo and Kami a long time ago, I was like, y'all should join ATT. They were like, we ain't joined over like ATT. They was roasting, they was roasting ATT, right? Yeah. And both of those motherfuckers end up switching over to ATT. But Kami came in to train with Thiago as a body. I was the head coach. But since my arm was up, he became the head coach for Thiago Alves. And he eventually became the head coach for the entire team, right? Yeah. So that was when I was really, really switching it over. Then I told myself, I want to try to get this a try. And a lot of people don't know this about me, and I can share it now, and I never would when I was fighting. I didn't have a coach until 2015. Until I fought Kelvin Gastelum, I didn't have a coach. I was the coach. I had a group of motherfuckers there in St. Louis I trained with. Yeah. I would write out the workout plan, you know what I mean? And we would come and practice.
Yeah, I remember seeing that a lot in your in like the UFC behind the scenes, road to the octagon, all that stuff. It was you basically orchestrating your training camp for the most part, and I felt like Dean was there to help.
No,
right?
I made Dean coach me.
Yeah, you made him coach you.
I said, Dean, you my motherfucking coach, dog. I said, you my coach, and I said, me and Dean got a funny story. Like DJ put it like this: imagine you went to a fight. You probably go to fights, right? Yep. And you go to fights and the kids like, oh, DJ, let me take a picture with her, whatever, right? Imagine if you was in a fight. You had an amateur fight, and you behind stage, and the kids say, oh, DJ, hey, DJ, can you corner me real quick to the fight? Yeah. You're not going to do it.
No, because
well, the biggest thing I did is Dean. That's how I met Dean. Dean came to 2 amateur fights, was bringing, because they didn't have amateur in Florida. He drove amateurs all the way from Florida to Missouri because we were the closest state that was doing amateur MMA. Yeah. He was there, right? And I said, hey, man, they say he part of ATT. Now, I had never even been to a big ATT. I was like at a satellite, which is kind of like, is you really ATT yet, right? Yeah. So I asked Dean to corner me. I said, hey, can you corner me real quick? He was like, all right, he didn't know I was. So he just went out there. The first day he ever met me, Dean went out there and cornered me, and I smashed somebody. And he came to the fight again. I did the same shit. Hey, man, can you corner me again? Because I didn't have corners. I just went there to fight. So he cornered me twice based upon that. Like, now looking back, like, it's got to be divine, man. It got to be God involved, because I wouldn't do that now. You wouldn't do that now. No. And he did it then. And then he used to come out to St. Louis when I was a coach at SIUE, and I would be coaching and teaching and working all day. This motherfucker didn't used to come fly out there, lay out in the grass, watch the like literally. I swear to you, like fucking what's that college movie when it was in Ithaca, for a road trip or something like that.
Probably.
He used to just lay out in the grass all day hours, just do shit until I get done with wrestling practice, and then after wrestling practice, me and him will go.
Damn.
He just wanted to get away. Yeah.
Well, he saw something in you. That's probably why, right? He
That
saw
was for
something
him
in
at
you.
that time. That was for him just to get wrestling experience.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
Then after that, I just started listening to his mind, the way he thought about fighting. He broke that shit down to a molecule. So I said, hey, dude, I don't have a team. I'm going to be real with you. So I said, I'm going to go out. Like, I built the team at one time, right? The team that ended up being the bomb squad, I was training with Eric Brown, Walker Boxers, on and off since 2007, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't have any consistent training with him. Then I said, Coach, I got a lot of money, but I'm going to start paying you a little bit because I need you full-time in my corner. I'm the first MMA guy that he really took a liking to. So then I decided to go to Rufus Sport. So the road to Octagon they was at my house, right? And they was like, all right, so I didn't have my training camp put together. Like, fuck, I'm winning this shit. So they at my house, and they're like, so where are we doing? That was either I was gonna fly to Florida, we're talking about the next day. So imagine this is a Thursday. We're either gonna fly to Florida on Friday, or we're gonna drive to Milwaukee on Friday. So I was trying to decide what the fuck I was gonna do. Then I asked my son Darren Bobo. I was like, Darren, what you think I should do? And he was a little bitty kid, 6 years old, right? He said, Tyron, I think you should go and train with Ben Askren and Anthony Pettis. I think you should go to Milwaukee, right? And at that time, I believe that kids were pure, right? So I would listen to them because they don't have the world in them yet, right? Spiritually, I would ask him out the blue, and he told me to go to Milwaukee. And I looked at the dude from UFC. I said, we going to Milwaukee. I was asleep. They drove my truck. And I think Florida is all, Dan Lambert had everything set up. You know what I mean? Had this dorm, had all this food, this bar, you know what I mean? All these coaches, the weather in Florida. It would have been more comfortable. But being comfortable doesn't make you a champion. Like, when I trained in Florida, it made me comfortable. Like, I did a couple training camps there. But when I went to Milwaukee, it made me a champion. It wasn't no cute girls there. It wasn't no freaking...
No distractions.
No distractions. Oh, shit. God like that for me. It wasn't the bullshit that I was getting me in trouble in fighting, right? Yeah. It was cold. It was -14. So I said, the next day, we went up to Milwaukee. Right? I hit Duke up. I said, I'm going to take you up on that offer. I'll be there tomorrow. He was like, all right. So I drove there. I got sleepy. The UFC, they probably just supposed to do this. UFC film crew had to drive my truck. I was tired. So the film crew drove my fucking truck all the way up to Milwaukee. Right? We get there. I get Eve Edwards to meet me there. Because that's when I fought the first Southpaw, which is Kevin Gastelum. And I'm like, Duke Rufus is the king at beating the opposite stand because his brother was a southpaw. So he had practiced with it every time. Anthony switched stances. Ben was a southpaw. It made sense. So I went out there. It's first day of practice. I get there. Everybody looking at me like, what the f*** is Tyron doing here, right? Ben didn't know I was coming. Anthony didn't know I was coming. Then CM Punk came in. Our first day together was... The first day was both of our first day. And then, to be honest, that was the best choice I ever made, man. Dean always had my back, but he would sometimes let me do whatever I want to do. Right? I didn't have a real striking coach. Then obviously Duke Rufus came in there, but Duke said, I'm not your striking coach, I'm your winning coach. He showed me how to train, and he showed me that I was doing too much. And when I started talking to you about your training program, the way I watched you fight, I thought you were doing what I was doing, right? But you weren't, right? It was getting in there and making it count, but not being in there too long just to be in there. And I was in there just to being there. I was in there to prove people that I was in shape. Because when you carry muscle around, people always think a black man with muscles gonna gas, and I hated that stereotype. So I was doing too much, and it never made it to the cage with me. It made me too sore for sparring. And so that's how I built my team. And I didn't have a coach until 2015.
Wow. That is.
Then I went on the run.
Well, it's just crazy because you were successful. I felt like you were successful in Strikeforce days, and then you're obviously successful in the UFC days because you became a world champion. Had some of the best knockouts in the welterweight division. I mean, when you knocked out Josh Koscheck, like you hit him, you recovered, you hit him with that right hand, and then you're like, bop bop, 1, 2. I was like, oh.
Just in case. And I don't remember throwing that last two piece. I don't even remember throwing that last two piece, to be honest. If you they only show highlights when you look at the clip, but if you go back and look at a piece of the fight, right?
Yeah.
When we trained for Josh, it was like, okay, Josh is a better accredited wrestler than me. He had a couple of national titles, right?
Yep.
He had quote unquote better cardio because he was getting hit, rocked, and we knew that if we hit him and flash him, he's going to come back to life, brother. He's not gonna wobble and go away. You have to put this motherfucker OUT, right?
Yeah.
Then he had a good overhand right too. So then we always looked at the fight. How is somebody gonna fight me based upon my strengths and weaknesses, and how can I beat him? And we decided that I can beat Josh Koscheck by being a half a second faster than him, by getting there a little sooner than him, being a little bit before him, right? So the whole game plan was not to think, and just to go, right?
Yeah.
So the first time he backed me up, I checked the punch, then I threw my overhand, but I wrapped it around his neck. So I hit him, and it flashed him, and he went down, right? He hit the ground, and I was like, all right, let's go, right? So he hit the ground, and I get on top of him, and I punched him, boom, and I woke his ass up. When I hit him, it's like all his strength came right back. When I hit him, boom, he saved by himself, his eyes opened up. And he grabbed me, and Koscheck's strong. He don't look strong, but he's strong, right? So he grabbed me. I'm like, this motherfucker back up. So then I started thinking, all right, I'm not going to knock him out from the top position. Get some punches in. When I breathe, I'm going to reset. Then we got into the same exact situation, right? I knew it was coming, so I kicked him, and then I looked up at the clock. I'm like, all right, it's only a couple more seconds left, right? So then he threw the punch. Now, I don't know how I be thinking like this, and you probably do the same thing. But I did have to be having conversations in my mind and thinking as the fight going on. Yeah. So he threw the same punch, right? So this time I took a half step back. Because remember, the first time I went behind his neck. So when I took that step back, it put me in a perfect exact position. So when I hit him, I cleaned him right across the chin. All I remember is, all right, he finna throw that punch again. I seen it because he was opening his body. I was like, here it comes. Step back. So when I step back, boom. I already knew I was perfect, so I threw my whole life in them punch. Wow, and I hit him, and then that's all I remember. I don't remember hitting him with another two-piece.
Yeah. That was the best. That was the best part. You go whack, and then he was like, "Oh!" And you go bop bop, another two, and you run off. And I remember
just in case.
Yeah, I remember
giant punch.
Yeah, I remember you had a quote. You said, "I threw my whole life in that punch. I think about them diapers. I was thinking about that formula. I was thinking about everything in that mother punch."
Nah, man, it was some struggles. Paul Daly fight, man. I was broke. Koscheck fight, I was broke, man. I had to like all these people that's getting into the fight game now, especially when they come from like YouTubing and different spaces, man, they never had to fight for money. We had to fight for money. You know what I mean? Wins and losses, and I hate the structure of the fighting game. And we'll talk about this later on in the show, but that's why as I'm doing my promotion, I'm structuring it different. I'm
whoa. You said your promotion?
Yeah. I started a whole promotion company.
Oh my goodness. Okay. We're gonna get to that. Okay, so let's I mean, it's crazy
because we're fighting for money, man. We're fighting not only for our livelihood. We had to win because we needed to win for our family, and we had to win because we need to advance in the rankings and advance to get closer to a belt. So it was different. It was different shit on the line.
Yeah, I agree. I always call the poor man's. They never gone through the broke poor man part of the sport, right? When you look at the influencer boxers, like you said, KSI, Jake Paul, the list just goes on, Slim, Salt Poppy, all those guys, credit to them to building a platform where they can be able to have money and be able to monetize their content and be able to have money to be able to have the best training camp, right? Like you said.
They don't have no diet restrictions. They don't have no training restrictions. Many of them don't have children. Many of them don't have another job that prevents them. I remember you were doing construction, you know what I mean? So we got all these different things that we had to do. I was coaching wrestling full time, to do what I needed to do and doing wrestling camps on the side. they are getting into almost like a bucket list win-win situation, right? Imagine like if you can get into a sport with no financial stress. That's the first thing that really us up. Financial stress, and then if you got a family on top of that to provide for them, and then you know what I mean, just the politics of actually having to climb the ranking on your own 2 feet, not because you come in with a ability to subscribe. But if you can subscribe, now subscriptions are technically pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Because even when you buy pay-per-view in the UFC, you got to go on the app and do all this other shit to it, right?
Yep.
So now people that are subscribable, likable, followable, TikTokable, you can't act like those people are going to be pay-per-viewable. They are. And that's why they've been able to make that grip. And I don't knock them for it, but their anxiety ain't the same as ours was.
Yeah, I agree. And sometimes I feel like that poor man state that we had made us better because we truly knew this is all we had and we had no choice but to make it, right? Like we had no choice but to train hard, get the jiu-jitsu, get the wrestling, get the Muay Thai, the kickboxing, find the right coach, have the right diet, all that stuff. Okay, I'm going to ask a couple more things about MMA, then I want to go on to some other stuff because, you know, most of our listeners are MMA, but I think I like to know the other side of mixed martial arts. So you won the belt. What is one fight that you wish you would have had? I wish I would have saw you versus GSP. Granted, GSP
that's the only
was
fight I wanted.
Yeah,
I hope for GSP a done bag too. I offer him $5 to $7 million to fight me in the Middle East.
Oh, really? In MMA or in
MMA? Yeah. And then I told him if he don't want to do MMA, he can choose the combat because he may just want to do kickboxing. He may just want to do something where you can punch and kick. Not because I don't like him, because I like him because he's the best.
Yeah.
And I just feel like I just missed him because of Tyron. Like if he would have been in the UFC still when I was in the UFC, I would have met him. And I feel like when I met him, I would have beat him. And it's something that's always in my mind. Like it don't matter how many times I would have won. Like I mean, if I would have got 9 or 10 like you and I still didn't fight GSP, I can't walk around and say I'm the best.
Yeah,
you could because you wiped everybody out. You doubled up on rematches. I never got that chance. And, you know, it wasn't the big super fights, which is the secondary. That's a supplement. If you can fight the top dog, that's the way you can say you're the best. Otherwise, you got to do it like Connor or somebody else. They just fighting the super fights that get the most attention and the most money. So, George St. Pierre, for sure, we the same age. I just started the sport at 23. He started earlier. And he did what he needed to do. I said this on my show. He did what he needed to do. He's not ducking and dodging me. He fought the tough guys. He fought the Matt Heeses. He fought the BJ Penns. It's just for his life, I can't make somebody fight a fight that means something to me and make it mean something to them. He did what he needed to do. He don't have to come back and prove. And, you know, that's just the unfortunate thing with timing. But if I could fight anybody, the old time, new time, anybody for any amount of money, it would be George St. Pierre.
Yeah,
and he's just out of that space right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Which rightfully so, like you said, he's done so much. One of the greats in the welterweight, one of the GOATs. I mean, like you said,
he is a GOAT in the welterweight division. Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm not gonna put him. I wouldn't put him technically as the best overall MMA. You know, I would say he's the best welterweight though.
Yeah,
for sure.
So. Now I don't even, okay, I'm done with MMA. You leave mixed martial arts, you leave the UFC, okay, and then all of a sudden we see you, because I believe the next step after the UFC was you went into influential boxing. You went into boxing, and correct me if I'm wrong, your first fight was against Jake Paul, correct?
Yeah, I mean, even before then, just so you know, I was going to lead the UFC prior. I was going to lead the UFC after Darren Till, right? I told them, fucking cut me, dog. Y'all want me here, man? Shit, y'all keep holding on to me, dog. Like, we keep fighting and shit every fight because, you know how I was. I was a gorilla. I had you up a couple times, too, to go buck wild.
Yeah.
I mean, but I knew the number so well. I knew what everybody was making. I'm not finna go out there and be making the same as Cowboy Cerrone. That motherfucker ain't never touched gold in his life. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna. No, that's just a principle thing. Yeah. I feel like sometimes when you're African American in this game, they think you should just be appreciative. I'm not just appreciative. I'm thankful that you give me opportunity, but you didn't give me the gifts. God gave me the gifts. I'm thankful to Him for the gifts. I'm appreciative of you for giving me an opportunity, right? But He's controlling everything, so I'm not gonna know what people are making number-wise and see what I've done in the sport and who I'm beating, I'm not going to let Robbie Lawler make more money than I made when I'm the motherfucker that smoked him, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. So at the end of the day, they hated that I knew the numbers. So I was like, all right, cool. So they don't want to, they say, okay, we'll let you out your contract. Bet. All right, I'm out. Right? That's before it was cool. I was the first one before it was cool to leave. Everybody was scared to leave. Everybody was hanging on your life for those 3 letters, right? UFC. You need to be fighting for the UFC. Once you get the straps, once people know what time it is, you need to go out there and make the top dollar because we prize fighters. You understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, you were in a position. You did financially what you deserve to get when you were at the top of the top league, right? I'm thankful for the UFC. I don't have no problems with them. I talked to Dana a couple months ago. I ain't got no issues with them. I did what I needed to do. If I can go back, I would just be a little bit more focused sourcing in on proving my family and my people right, less distracted and less on trying to prove them wrong. I was trying to prove them right the whole time. So I burned them last 5 fights off my contract.
Yeah.
I couldn't get out. You see how fast I fought? I fought everybody.
Yeah,
I fought all my mentees.
You were going fast.
Osterman, Colby, Luke K. Gilbert, and I'm out.
Yeah.
I had already planned on boxing.
Yeah, you were very, very, very active as you were a champion, and it was like back to back. Not your best performances, but if your mind was already set on you're gonna go box, and I know what you mean. I'll never forget when I fought and I was a world champion, and then CM Punk came in there, and his paycheck was $500,000, and I was making I think 350,
150.
Yeah, something like that. I think it was 350 because I was fighting Henry Cejudo, so I had 350 flat. And this guy comes in and he makes 500K, and I'm like, what the f? This guy's never touched gold before in his whole entire life, and he's making more money than me.
Like, I understand it now, but at that time I was on that.
Yeah,
I was on that same shit. I'm like, fuck that. I argued with him over you a couple times. It ain't had shit to do with me, but I was like, nah, because I was talking numbers. I'm like, when you go to basketball, it don't matter if Steph Curry throw a monster can at somebody dome or bust a window out. He can pull a 3. He gonna pay top dollar, right? You got DJ who got 8 at the time. He got 8 titles. He got 8 titles, but you gonna pay Cowboys running the same as him? Cowboys making 350. He never took. You said go whatever. I said so. Your reason behind him making $350,000 per fight is that he never complains. He takes any fight that you offer him. He'll even fight injured. He'll even fight last minute notice. That don't work for me.
Yeah, well, it kind of defeats the whole it defeats the whole purpose of being a world champion, right? Because that's the whole premise of getting into a sport, whether it's basketball, football, NHL. You want to become champion, you want to touch gold. And in mixed martial arts, it always had that bad stigma where it's like you could be a world champion, and a guy who's on a 2-fight win streak who just has a bigger following is going to make more money than you. So I totally understand where you're coming from. So
people started wanting to be the champion of the purse and stop being the champion of the UFC in the world.
Exactly.
And that's, people right now are the champion of the fight that they put you in. It ain't necessarily the best fighters. It ain't, the ranking system is not even really used as much. If a Sean O'Malley got a bigger following, he's going to supersede anybody that was technically up next according to ranking, according to head-to-head matchups, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I became tired of trying to prove people wrong. It wasn't a motivator for me anymore. At one point in time, it was everything. I said, you think Wonder Boy can beat me? Let me show you. I'm going to this one. Oh, you think Darren Till got me? I was always out there to show these motherfuckers. That was my whole MO in my mind. They trying to set me up. They think these motherfuckers can beat me. And maybe they weren't, but it was something that drove me, that they are trying to set me up. They think this motherfucker can beat me. That's what I would say before I say yes to every fight. And that was enough to make me go out there and make an example out of a motherfucker. But that wasn't what I should have been doing. So then when I erased that appetite, and then I just got tired of contesting and telling the truth, because when you're looking at the sport, Dana White and Joe Rogan is their encyclopedia. If I tell what the truth is, now I'm the complaining, whining, entitled fighter. So I didn't want to be the complaining, whining, entitled fighter. I didn't want to be the guy that's always throwing a race card, and I knew I couldn't win that battle. So then I become mute. Remember the last couple of years of UFC? I didn't respond to nothing. I let Dana say whatever he want to say. I let the say, and I just walked and showed up. I didn't say shit, right?
Yeah.
That was the most depressing, worst time of my career, as far as like that. It wasn't there. I was a shell walking around. I mean, I trained hard. I trained discipline, and when I started disciplining myself the way everybody told me to do, my performances were worse. When I was distracted, when I was out living a life, when I was, you know what I mean, doing shit that I shouldn't have been doing, you know what I mean, chasing women, all this other bullshit, right?
Yep.
That's when I was winning, but it wasn't because of what I was doing at that time. It was the seeds I planted 7 years before when I was chasing God, when I was eating healthy, when I was living correct. Those seeds had planted, those seeds had grew, and I was harvesting. I was in a harvest season when I was on my title reign. The devil kind of, they said don't be ignorant of Satan's devices, because the devil had me thinking that it's separate. You can be a shitty husband and a great fighter and a dad, and you're going to keep winning. No, all I was doing was pulling the harvest from what I planted, right? Then I was planting shitty seeds in the ground that I unfortunately had to deal with later, and they came out. So when you seen that streak of learning, all of the lessons I took, I planted some seeds during that title reign, right? I was training my ass off, so I've never been a lazy person. I love training. I love testing my body, but at the end of the day, I came to the temptation, right?
Yeah.
The temptation that, why do I gotta be a good person? Everybody No, I went through that, man. I felt like when I was in strike force, I felt like I was a goody two-shoe. You know what I mean? I felt like everybody else was getting the DWIs and doing all this bullshit, and they were still winning, still making money.
Yeah.
And I put a big toe in that water for a little bit, and shit, that shit wasn't. I'm out of there now. I'm out in that water. You try to pull me out the water, and I respect you and I appreciate you, and I'm thankful that you're a man that can forgive and we can be friends again, because you was the only real one at that time that was trying to get me to do the real thing. You was saying, hey dog, you try to grab me up, talk to me, that get the out of here, do this, and you was telling you all the right shit, but at the time I didn't want to hear. Man. So I appreciate you and love you for being able to be your friend again, and I appreciate you for trying to help me at that point in time, but I honestly think it was God's will that I grew up and I learned, because I learned like 20 years of shit in a short period of time because of what I did. Now, now I'm off the grid. Now I'm off the grid, you know what I mean? I'm just coasting. I ain't in the mix. I ain't VIP at every club, every party. You know what I mean? I ain't spending no money. I got this little one on. Anthony gave me this, Anthony Pettis. He gave me this. His dad gave it to him, and he gave it to me, so it's symbolic. It's something I wear because his dad passed. So I don't even. If you hang out with me now, it'd be a lot different than.
I'm like, wow, T. Wow, this is it, huh? This is boring. Can we go back to the Tiger Woods days where you doing all this stuff? The biggest thing is I've always cherished the moments we've always had with each other. I've always wanted nothing but the best for you. I've always got love for you. And when you said you were glad we could be friends again, I never thought we became unfriends. So
you had to do what you had to do. What you had to do, and I respect that, because your wife and my wife had become friends, and some of the things I was doing was just shitty stuff. Yeah. Right, and you can't stand side by side. You did.
We're talking about this.
Like, you got to choose your wife, and you got to choose right over wrong. And at that time, I was doing wrong. And bad company corrupts good manner. You can't be being a good guy and hanging around me, and I'm out here willy nilly in this world, right? Yeah. You try to get through my thick ass skull, and man, you told me one time, and I just looked at you. We was at that fight. We was at that fight or something, right?
Yeah. Oh, you remember what I said to you?
Yeah. You talk. I remember you say, you know what? Yeah, I look around. I might see a woman that's attractive, but I understand how important my wife is. So if I need to think and I need to, today, if I need to use my imagination, whatever I got to do, I do with my woman. That's what you need to do. I heard everything you said. I wrote it down. I still got the notepad. I wrote everything you said down on a notepad. I got it in my closet. And I showed you a picture of one that had a big booty and some juicy. And you look at me, this motherfucker didn't listen to nothing I said. God damn. But since a kid, man, I've been that way, man. Since I was a little bitty kid, man, I just couldn't help it. I just loved them, man. I just love women, man.
I love it. All right, let's get back on track. T. Okay, so I agree with you. The always arguing with.
To say that to you, though.
Hey,
you need to hear that.
I truly do. And I remember those talks, man. I remember the UFC Fighter Summit days. I remember all that stuff, man. Like I said, I hold those memories close to my heart because it was a real conversation. I truly cared about your well-being, and your career and your life and your family and all that stuff. So, but I want to talk about your transition from MMA to boxing. Now, the biggest thing I want to know, and I hope you can elaborate on it, is how is negotiating? I always tell people, you see a lot more people going from MMA to boxing. You look at Francis Ngannou, you've done it. There's been a lot more. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more athletes. Anthony Pettis has done it. Now, when you sign up with any mixed martial arts promotion, typically one, PFL, Bellator, UFC, you name it, they pretty much have the leverage unless you have, a big following. But you go into boxing, you always hear in boxing, there's an A side, there's a B side. And when you were negotiating with, Jake Paul, how was that negotiating? Were you able to go in there and say, hey, this is what I want, this is how much I deserve? Like, what is that negotiation like?
The first time it was a lot easier than the second time. The first time it was like this. I never asked to fight Jake. Right? Remember when I was a champion, I was talking about fighting Canelo. I don't know what the I was thinking then. I'm fighting Canelo, dog. And Canelo said, yes, he'll fight me. A lot of people don't know that. Canelo said, yeah, he'll fight me at that time. And Dana wouldn't let it happen, right? But he let Floyd and Conor happen. So long story short, when I had already planned on doing boxing. Part of the reason why I wanted to burn my contract out, and for you guys that don't understand what that means that I have a specific amount of fights left on my contract. After I use that last fight, most fighters don't make it to the last fight. The UFC try to get them to renegotiate between the second to the last or their last fight. They try to renegotiate before, so we don't hit free agency. Once we fight the last fight out, we got 90 days where they can only speak to us. And then we got 180 days where they got the right to match, and they can basically match any offer. So if Bellator say, okay, I'm going to give you this. Now, what I had was everybody was going to juice my numbers up. So there's no way they was going to keep me.
Yep.
People was going to offer me 3, 4, 5 million, and the UFC would have never paid me that. So I was going to be free anyway. So the UFC didn't even fight me. So when I fought my last fight against Luke Hay, right, I came out swinging like they remember. I think I came out a little too buck wild. And I got clipped with a shot, but they remember. They said, "Okay, that's the Tyron we remember." So when I left, it was very amicable. It was very respectable. It was no bullshit. It was no drama. So I was able to instantly go out for another deal. I didn't have to get the approval. I didn't have to get the right to match. So I had planned the entire time to be the only free agent in the sport. And for a long time, I was the only true free agent in the sport. I had offers from ONE FC. Had offers from PFL, I had offers from Bellator, had offers from Glory, and I still have offers with most of those companies, right, to fight. Yep. One fight deals. I'm not signing an exclusive contract to anybody but myself and my promotion company. So I could have fought in ONE FC. We had spoken about me fighting the champion because the champion of ONE, he had both belts, right?
Yeah, I can't remember who it was because the weight classes are different. Like, you're one.
There was one guy that was around my weight that had 2 belts in both weight classes.
Yeah,
more of a grappler, right?
Yep.
So we were talking about me fighting him. The Glory champion, the guy from Glory hit me up. The champion of Glory wanted to fight me, right? Cool. And PFL hit me up about fighting. I said, cool. So I'm still to this day, I have offers for all these companies to fight. So now I'm in the driver's seat where now I can fight when I want to fight. In the UFC, I couldn't do that. I had to fight injured. I fought 4 world titles fights in 1 year. Me and John Jones, the only one that fought and successfully defended that many times in 1 calendar year. And I fought at times when I wasn't ready to fight. I fought in winter months. Like when I fought Rory, it was tough to make weight in the winter for me because my camps were in Milwaukee and I was 205, cutting down on 170. And I've been 205 for 15 years. No. I've never not been 205. I've always been that same weight, but I've just been killing myself to get down to 170. So the Jake Paul negotiation was a little different because Jake then respected me and it kind of was a fan of me in MMA, right? And they understood that I'm the one that gave Jake credibility. Don't get it f***ed up.
Yeah.
Not Ginn, not Nate Robinson, not Anderson, not Nate, not Tommy Fury, right? None of those guys did. Because everybody, I called him out from Vulture and the Culture. I'm the one that had the big press conference with him. I did the most numbers with him. And when you look at the fight, I'm the one that really had the ability to hurt him. I'm the only one that really hurt him in any fights, right?
Yep.
So by him beating me and coming back and knocking me out after we had a close fight with some most people thought I won, right? That gave him the credibility. Okay, I guess he a real fighter now, right?
Yep.
It was still down. Yeah, I was mad too. Shit, I wasn't happy. You know what I mean? But But in the negotiation, they didn't fight me over money because Nikisa worked for the UFC.
Yep.
And he said some things private to me that as a man I don't speak about business outside of it. But he said some things private to me on reasons why he didn't want to try to negotiate with me, on reason why he didn't want to try to take me down on numbers. So really, what I asked for is what I got, right? And I set the bar because everybody else got the same purse I got, or they got higher when they went to Saudi, but Saudi amplified that. You can add another 5 million on there when you go to Saudi, right?
Damn.
Crazy.
I didn't get my black ass in Saudi. I mean, that's the thing now.
I'm not getting money. I like B side, but I was like the B+ side. But in the rematch, we had already, he was the A side, I was kind of the B, but kind of closer to being even. On the second time around, my fight purse was dumb on the rematch clause. That's why I was so mad. I thought I won the first fight. So I should have been fighting him again on the rematch clause. When I fought him again the second time, it wasn't on the rematch clause because I didn't win, according to the judges, right? So I would have made over double the amount of money I made the first time, and I got paid nice the first time. And then we both would have been A side. So flights and what gloves you can wear and hotels, and if you get a private plane and all that shit is negotiated. I don't want a private plane because I got too many people. So I just want fucking economy flights, but a lot of them versus a few business class or a private jet. I can fake that shit. I can go rent one and take some video like everybody else doing. Buy one shower. Motherfucker ain't owning no damn plane. Get out of here. Shit expensive.
Man. So you would say you enjoy the negotiating in the boxing realm, the influencer boxing?
For sure. It's a guaranteed rate. In fighting, is no way. When we train to win. Nobody want no showing win bonus.
Yeah.
Win bonus should be if you want to give me a bonus on top of that because you like my performance.
Yeah.
I should negotiate a rate that I'm gonna make win or lose, because what if I get cut? What if you do something illegal? What if I won and everybody said I lost? What if it was a draw? And now the UFC or any other organization, they get away from paying either guy a win bonus, right?
Yeah, that's true.
When I fought Wonder Boy, nobody got a win bonus. They save money. And they got to fucking fight in the night fight. Right? No, you ain't saying shit. We need to get that, right?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how the boxing negotiation is. And I just enjoyed it because there's no bullshit. There's no commercials for real. So I was able to sell a lot of ad spots. Each patch of my shorts every patch was 6 figures. None of them was less than that. Every last one of them. Some of them 100, 150, 125. 100 for a patch, another 20 for a hat. I had 30,000 for a mouth guard.
$30,000 for a mouth guard?
Yeah, Big Willie's. They paid me 30 bands to fake like I was gonna put beard oil on before I fought.
You're like,
hey man, we need to shop it up, man. I'm about to make a beard oil. Maybe we can maybe collaborate.
I love it. We were supposed to do that a long time ago when we were.
That's what I'm saying it to you now. I just thought about it. Somebody brought it to my attention. I thought about it.
Yeah,
so we made a lot of money on that, and then they had some corporate sponsors that had to be on our shorts, which I did not with Barstool Sports. I did not like that dude. I cursed them out during the face-off. I said, "Who the is you? Who told you to say that bullshit?" Oh, that's what the fans want to hear. Said they don't want to hear that bullshit. That shit mad disrespectful. The way he announced me and Jake, I didn't know who he was, whoever the dude is that own Barstool Sports, but him, whatever his name is. I don't like him. What's his name? David something?
I don't know. Michael, you know his name? What's his name, Michael?
His name's Michael. He know this shit finna be a soundbite. He popped over there. What's his name?
I love how Tyron knows exactly how the game works. Dave Portnoy's his name. So
Dave said some shitty shit about some athletes as well. And he said some bullshit when we fought. And people think just because you got money and clout that you got to worship people. I don't. If you're a billionaire or a bum, I'm going to give you the same respect if you earn it. I always give respect. He disrespected me the first time I met him. He don't get a second chance with me. And I don't care if my podcast ain't never on Barstool Sports. I don't give a fuck. And that's on Love Cuz combined.
I love it. Well, that's one of the things.
Yeah, so I'm gonna let you talk about. I always overtalk people, but
no, you're good. You're good. It's that's the thing I always find it. So a couple things I want to take away from that. One, you were one of the first free agents in the big time when it was not
Yeah,
cool to
I
be
was
free
the
agent.
first free agent. Yeah,
The first
Francis made it cool afterwards, but I'm gonna be real. They was knocking me when I did it.
Yeah.
Francis and those they wasn't on it when I was doing it. Now everybody, now the UFC doing me so bad. Oh, I don't like it. Let me say it. Oh my god.
Well,
Google,
I mean,
Google worst treated champion, Mike. Since you got you on the side, pop in again. Google worst treated champion in UFC and see what the first thing that populated.
oh, I love
Worst,
it. So the biggest thing,
worst treated UFC champion. The 20. Well, it says the 20. Oh, it says Tyron Woodley. I'm by far the worst treated champion in the history of the UFC.
But think about it, right? I fought the gorilla, the natural born killer. I fought the ruthless motherfucker. I fought the Karate Kid. I fought the best jiu-jitsu guy they ever had in the sport, right?
Yep.
Right? I fought almost the best of each. Brawler, and then the up and coming, they just swore on everything that Darren Till was about to be Conor McGregor. Oh my God, he sold out the O2 ringer. He's bigger than Tyron. He's more focused than Tyron. Blah, blah. He did all that shit, right? And then that motherfucker got beat up. So what are we talking about, right? So at the end of the day, all I did was ask questions.
Yeah.
And I came over to the UFC with a flag though. Sean Shelby did that shit. That's why Sean Shelby, I've been wanting to slap you for a long time because of it. He told Joe Silva I was difficult. He told Joe Silva I was difficult because I didn't want to sign a new deal with Strikeforce. Dude, I'm 20. I started fighting at 23. I ain't young.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be like Chandler and Eddie Alvarez spending their best years in Bellator.
Yeah.
I want to spend my best year in the UFC. So I told him, I said, hey, I don't want to do another deal, dog. I got 2 more fights on my deal. Let me fight Nate. If I win, then I want more money. But if I lose, you ain't got to pay me more money. I got 2 fights. Why we got to renegotiate now? So they wanted me to renegotiate, and that's why he said I was difficult because I didn't want to.
Yeah, well, that's a tactic you explained earlier. That's a tactic they do it, right? Even when I fought, they're like, so for the listeners out there, what you always want to do, and I learned this from Tyron Woodley, Francis Ngannou, Eddie Alvarez, is that you always bet on yourself, right? If you believe in yourself, if you believe in your brand, you bet on yourself. So if you sign a 8, 5, 6 figure,
Did you ever sign a 10-fight deal?
No, what's that?
You ever signed a 10-fight deal?
Yeah, I've signed an 8-fight deal.
I did a 10-fight deal with UFC. It was dumb as shit.
Yeah, I've signed an 8-fight deal, and I've gone through the whole entire deal. I think it was the first time when I fought in the UFC when I became a champion, when I beat Joseph Benavidez. That was 152, and then I got to the very end. I think it was like 2 fights left, and they renegotiated with me, and they gave me, I think it was 150 to show and 50 to win. No pay-per-view points. And I knew that's where you made the bulk of your money in the pay-per-view points. If you got on a Conor card or a big card, or at that time it was Jones and DC.
If they allowed you to become a brand, if they allowed you.
Yes.
I think, I proved after the UFC that I can do it without Conor, right?
Yeah.
People can say Jake Paul, but Jake Paul fans are not my fans. They're the team bopper fans.
Yep.
He got people that are younger than him that are looking up to him. So the high schoolers were my fans. So for us to do the numbers we did, you can't. Okay, I thought I was in the draw.
Yeah.
I mean, so I did a 10-fight deal too.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is that nowadays, where content is king. What I mean by content is king, you have not as much selection to go anywhere. To go. There are places to go, but you have a big name like, take for example, Francis Ngannou. No, let's take for example Sergio Pettis. One of the hot athletes who came out of the UFC, did not resign with the UFC. He ended up signing with Bellator, became a champion, ended up beating Kyojo Horiguchi. He said that he was making more money outside of the UFC when he went to Bellator. You look at Francis Ngannou, he just made probably the biggest bag he's ever made fighting Tyson Fury. And arguably, I thought he won that fight. And now he's about to fight Anthony Joshua. And then the winner. Yeah, and after that fight, he's going to fight the winner of Tyson Fury versus Usyk. What's that? That's your call after that? See, that's the thing that people don't realize. Like, there's money outside of the organization. If you have a name,
fighting too.
Outside of fighting, yeah. If you have a name, always bet on yourself. Nowadays, like if I have my kids and they came up in the ranks, I'm like, son, you're signing like maybe a 3-fight deal, and that's it. If you don't, after the 3 fights, if you go 0-3. okay, it is what it is. We'll get back in the shop, get back in the lab, keep on working harder, and we'll come back and try it again.
Ain't
But
nobody with no Johnson blood in their lives when they're going over. Come on now.
but it's an interesting thing to hear. You know, you're negotiating with, when you negotiate with those guys, it was a lot easier than it is with UFC, which I'm not surprised.
I did the second fight on the napkin. I did the second fight on a notepad over lunch.
What the fuck? You're like, okay, don't lose this napkin. Okay, this is what I want. This is what I deserve.
Yeah, I already got it on my phone. I over a notepad, so not a napkin. I did Cody Garbrandt deal on a napkin.
Well,
send it to him on Snapchat so it can dissolve. I've been doing deals for a long time. Juliana Pena, we helped out a long time ago, trying to build our brand. Catagano, Cody Garbrandt, a lot of people, Michael Chandler. Like, I never got credit for it because I never did it for credit, but I try to help enhance a lot of people's deals, their marketability, because if you were affiliated with me, it wasn't always a good thing for you, right?
Yeah.
So I had a cousin that was in the UFC, and I told her, don't be telling people you're my blood cousin. You know what I mean? Don't be telling people that, because you may get an actual different experience, right? If you need anything from me, let me know. I got your back, but go and get it on your own too. A lot of fighters from the UFC that's in St. Louis. The little dude that did that crazy kick that knocked that dude head off, that's now the Bellator champ, right?
Yeah.
He from St. Louis. He been in my gym a lot. I said, dog.
we don't associate you.
Pictures, don't be posting too many pictures with me in the gym, because you got a good relationship. You know what I mean? You fight like they want you to fight, and you know what I mean? You say what they want you to say. Keep it on that.
Yeah. Okay. So let's. So do you think you'll fight Jake Paul again? You think that fight's gonna happen?
Hopefully that's what they want to holler at me about. Some MMA shit when I holler at these PFL cats, because I feel.
Oh, that's right, because he's having his PFL debut. That's right. Me and Michael were talking about that. We said we'd rather see you versus Jake Paul.
It shouldn't be nobody else. If I'm the one that gave you your credibility, one, I feel like I won the first fight. Two, I was definitely winning the second fight. And at the same time I dropped my hand, he threw $1 million punch. If you rewind the film, he never won a round before then, right? Ever. The whole fight, he lost every single round. So, I mean, you can't take it away from him. If I hit him with the same punch, I've been on the gravy train as well. So I feel like if anybody's going to fight him, you're going to be making too much money to get kind of just catered through and walked up. You know, you got to jump in the fire. And there's no fire in PFL like that right now. It's a lot of people talent-wise, but they don't have the name. And MMA, now come over to my world. Let's see what it is. I can slam your ass. And they can't elbow. They should let elbows go in PFL though.
Well, I remember the Don Davis, he was talking about the elbows, and the reason why is because there's two different brands or whatnot. If it's the PFL season where the guys have to be back faster and they're in the you're talking
about the Bellator PFL?
No, yeah. I was
talking about just before that. I'm talking about, I think elbows should be allowed.
Oh yeah, 1,000%.
Like man in the face on the ground, kicking, soccer kicking, you like all that shit.
Yeah. I like knees to the ground. Soccer kicks are fine. It's harder to kick. People don't realize how hard it is to kick somebody when they're actually like looking. Like if I drop them, come around and boot them, then that's curtains. But if I drop you and you're actually on your back like a turtle and looking, it's so hard to kick somebody. I mean, if you jump and stomp their face, you can do it like Shogun Hua style in Pride.
You're saying this all casually, like that shit. You know, you're talking about soccer kicking a motherfucker, and they still.
No, it's hard, man. It's hard. I mean, we trained before in the gym because Matt, his days back in Pride, and we didn't know where I was gonna go. He was like, I don't know if you're going to, Shuto or Pride, or if you're going to.
You was ready for whatever.
Well, I was ready for whatever, right? Like. Matt will come and Matt will like, all right, guys.
He ain't gonna say much either.
What's that?
He ain't gonna say much either. He gonna look at you like,
yeah, exactly.
Just the general public.
Yeah. Well, sometimes we'll come in the gym. He goes, all right, guys, we're sparring for 10 minutes. Everything goes. You stop, kick, stomp. Just be careful. Don't boot your teammate. And we would just do 10-minute rounds, and we'll do like maybe 4 of them. He was like, we don't know where you're gonna go. We don't know if you're gonna go UFC, Pride, whatever. Or back in the day, it wasn't. What was that Pride's smaller weight class? It wasn't Shuto. It was Bushido. That's what it was. It was that was more spotlight on the smaller weight class, like the smaller weight class out there. I would love to see that. I think you make that. I think they make that fight. Tyron Woodley versus Jake Paul.
I'm gonna holler at my guy George when he called me in a minute. He said, "I'm gonna call you in 40 minutes. He's in Saudi Arabia." I said, "Well, I gotta do my dog Mighty podcast real quick, and then hit me after that." But you know, it's funny. I was calling the fight. They do like a celebrity panel, right? So me and Red Lewis was calling the fight, and dude hit me up and said, Tyron, and in this moment, like, what would you do? Because they want like my answer. I said, I'll drop a motherfucking elbow on them, right? I ain't say motherfucker, but I did my little corporate voice. You know, from this position, I would posture up, create space, and drop an elbow. It's like, somebody thought they like, you know how people just they kind of hate on you because you're good naturally at what you do.
Yeah.
And they want to like try to like outdo you on a broadcast. That's the worst thing to do with me because I'm gonna drown you. He said, oh, there's no elbows in PFL. I said, you didn't ask me what the rules was. You asked me what I would do. If I was in there, I'm elbowing them. But then everybody started laughing, so he actually made me look good on trying to be petty. I'm not gonna call it out who did it.
Well, I hope they make that match. I think it's dope. I think me and Michael love to see that and cover it. Michael, what did you got for me? I don't want this man to be late to his meeting for Saudi Arabia because I don't want to take the money out of the man's pocket. What you got for Michael?
I wanted his opinion on one of the other influencer fights that we did see. Dylan Dennis versus Logan Paul. What were your thoughts?
Get that shit out of here. Dylan Dennis ain't fought MMA in 7 years, and he only did it twice when he did it, and he was a jiu-jitsu guy before he did it. He just got a loud mouth, and they want to fight a fighter. Like, all these dudes, Jake Paul is the only dude that are really a fighter motherfucker for real. He'll fight a real person, right? KSI, Cap SI. I had a contract with him right now. I was supposed to fight him. He was never supposed to fight Dylan. He was never supposed to fight Timber. He was supposed to fight me January 14th. Got a 7-figure contract. You asked to fight me, motherfucker. I don't even know your name. You asked to fight me. You sent me a contract. I agreed to it. And then guess what? He flaked and took the easier opponent because what happened? Logan Paul shit up in WWE in Saudi Arabia. So technically on that card, it was supposed to be me and KSI, Logan Paul, and Dylan. That was supposed to be the fight card January 14th. He switched to style up. That's why I went out to Dubai. So I don't really I feel like in those fights, just enjoy the entertainment, be entertained. Like, you know what I mean? That's what I'd say.
Yeah.
All these guys, like Slim is actually nice though.
He is. Slim is good.
Slim is nice. I like Slim.
Slim is good. He's good. I saw his fight with Saul Poppy. So how do you feel about Dennis getting an opportunity to fight in the UFC?
He is?
No, what do you think? Do you think they should give him an opportunity to fight in the UFC?
I mean, you talking about business side or you talking about sports side?
I want to know T Wood side. I want to know real G side.
Nobody give a about no Dylan. No one give a fraction of a about a Dylan Dennis. But as far as like somebody's gonna keep talking shit over and over again, he gonna fall into the Kobe Covington category, but he's gonna be not gonna be as good. Maybe he should fight Kobe.
Okay,
yeah, there it is. I would watch the fight so we can be cringed up by the shit talking, right? And then technically, if Kobe keeps wrestling him, he actually got a decent chance on the ground, I guess.
Yeah, his jiu-jitsu's legit. I've broken down a couple of his fights, and I think the biggest thing for Dylan, he's had so much injuries and surgeries, and I think he hasn't had an opportunity to stay healthy. And sometimes I feel when you get big by talking and, gabbing a lot instead of just fighting more.
And also that means you're training like a dumbass, because if he hasn't only fought twice and he got so many injuries and surgery, that means he's not training with people that are protecting him.
Exactly. So that's the hardest thing. I always laugh because that's the biggest talk. That's one of the biggest talks right now around like, yes, beautiful. Yes, go ask mom. I love your shoes. Go ask mom, okay? I'll be in a little bit.
Okay, first family.
Yeah, I know, right? I will in a second, okay? Let me finish my.
We gotta go to church. Still gotta get you off here.
Yeah.
The boy ain't finna get struck down for me. Pray for me when you get there too.
Yeah, I will. Like, dear Lord, baby Jesus, make sure T Will gets the biggest bag he can in Saudi Arabia. And I want to make sure you bless all of his blessings, Lord.
His mind, his body, his soul, his spirit.
Keep them devils and distractions away from this man. Lord knows he loves it too much. Say hi. Say hi.
How you doing?
Say hi. She's shy. All right. All right. Well, T Wood, man, I think we got to do this again because we didn't get to talk about so much stuff. I didn't get to talk to you about your movies, the acting.
I tricked you because now I need you to come on my podcast. So
Hey, you know what, baby? We're going to do it.
swing up. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the realest international promotion trip. Come take a trip. Everybody want to increase tourism. We're going to show you how to do business proper. So we're going to promote all things art, not just mixed martial arts, art festivals, concerts, music, boxing, mixed martial art, and especially events. So the realest international promotional trip, we are headquarters in Dubai, but we're worldwide West Side when it comes down to it.
I love it. And that's what you got coming up next. Where can people find you, T Wood? You got your podcast coming up.
Podcast
Social
coming
media.
out, launch next week. You guys are the first hearing here. It's called Real Shit Right Quick. Me and my dog Rosenblum Evan from TMZ, 18 years there. He created TMZ Sports. A lot of credibility. We had a great show called The Hollywood Beatdown. Our numbers were dumb. So we reconvened chemistry off the wall. That show's going to launch next week. You can see me fight. I'm working on a big fight right now. Like I told you when I got off the phone, that's a different fight, but I got another fight that I talked to you off air that I can't talk about yet, that preferably both of these go down in this start off 2024 with some mama energy.
I love it. I love it. Man, ladies and gentlemen, Michael, do you have anything left for my man T Wood?
No, that was it. I just, one thing I thought was interesting that the viewers might know is, DJ, you actually have a son named Tyron, so I thought that was a pretty interesting.
Tyren. How you doing? How old are you now? 10?
He's 10, man. He's 10. He's almost as big as me. I know that's not saying much, but oh, bless you, baby. He's almost as big as me. I think he's 4'8" now, 4'8", and I'm 5'3", so he's catching me, man. And it was funny because when I remember the first time we saw you fight, we heard Mama Wood like, "Come on, Tyron, come on, baby, get him, baby, come on, beat his ass, baby." And then she was like, "I love that sound of that name." And we kind of got some influence from that, like just hearing the name Tyron Woodley. It's very unique for to hear it right off the bat, and to have a black dude named Tyron Woodley. And then I was like, I like that name, and Destiny too. So, you kind of influenced that name of the day.
OG Triple.
That's right.
Well, I gotta say, I ain't seen him in a long time.
I don't know where his black ass is at. He's out here doing something. They're in the WWE now, man. That's all they do is WWE every day, all day. When Michael comes over and stays the night, he's downstairs playing with the kids too, doing WWE. And I was like, "Michael, you're the adult. Can we get these kids to bed?" And he goes, he's like, yeah. I'm sorry, it's so fun."
Yeah, they introduced him to CM Punk.
They probably would like that.
Yeah. So you're thinking about him making that 500,000?
Pissed me off. Pissed me off. That's what it did.
I seen Punk. He's a good dude though.
All the shit DJ said now that he sees CM Punk, and he's just like, "I f***ing heard your podcast with Tyron Woodley."
Right.
Punk's a good dude though. He's one guy that like basically his heart and just who he was. Like if you met him like outside of like the negotiation stuff, you were like, he's a good dude.
Yeah, I bet. I believe it. So, all right, T Wood, we're going to do this again. Thank you so much for coming into the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our guest, Tyron Woodley. And make sure you guys follow us on, Spotify, all the video stuff. Tate, you be quiet. I am your host, Demetrious Johnson, along with my good friend co-host, Michael Wandover. Ladies and gentlemen, we are out. The one who's keeping this ship nice and well and oiled. And this was his idea.
What's up? No, and I want to let you guys know we are live. We've been hearing this a lot, so please send those super chats. All that stuff. We'll be answering your questions throughout the show. So we want to make this interactive. We'll definitely have a discussion component too, but we want to make sure you guys are involved. So make sure to send those super chats. We're going to be looking at the chat all show, and let's have some fun.
Look at him. All right. So the biggest thing is talking about DDP versus Sean Strickland. Now, guys, everybody out there thinks I am a Sean Strickland hater. Okay, you guys got to remember what my background is. One, I am not a hater. Okay, when I see athletes in mixed martial arts, let's start from the very beginning. Mixed martial arts. Let's take a look at what mixed martial arts is. Mixed martial arts is you can use any art form to get the job done. Right? You can use boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, submission wrestling, jiu-jitsu, judo, sambo, delicious Corona karate, taekwondo, Taiwan chi, whatever you want to call it. You can do any art form. Okay, just like building a house, you could build the whole fucking house with a hammer. But wouldn't it be easier to build a house with a nail gun, a saw, a lift truck, et cetera, et cetera? That's where I bring that type of concept in with mixed martial arts. When I see athletes only use one tool set or one form of martial arts to try to get a W, I feel they are limiting their skill set. For me, for example, there have been times when I fight people and I'm like, okay, you know, let's take, for example, Adriano, the last fight. When I was fighting him, he is longer than me, right? So he already has the reach advantage. I know I'm better. I was way better in the clinch. I knew he wants to go to the ground. And so I would still throw my body kick because I want his hands busy. I would clinch him because I knew I could beat him up in the clinch. And I knew I was trying to knock him out in the clinch. And four, I was also trying to wrestle him, even to let him know, hey, I want you to be worried about my takedown, but I'm not going to take you down and try to pass your guard unless you give it to me. And fifth, I was also lining him up with strikes. So that is how much tool sets I was using in one fight. And that's how I approach all my fights, right? So when I see Sean Strickland, he likes to use that Philly shell style, which is fine. But it's not, you're using one set of the skill to get the W. And that's where I'm like, you guys like, oh, DJ's a hater. I see it how I call a spade when I see a spade. That's what I'm talking about. So when I see an act like that, now going to the flip side, DDP, he is a little bit unknown. He did a bit more wrestling. He took the fight to a different spot, which was the wrestling. Even though you guys like, well, he didn't do anything with the wrestling. I saw a lot of that in the comments. He did nothing, absolutely nothing with the wrestling. Okay, that's true. But with the wrestling, he was able to keep Sean Strickland guessing. Is he going to go down? Is he going to shoot? And there's a couple times in the fight, he shot down and did a quick left check hook and caught Sean Strickland. But for me, when I sat there and I watched the fight, I didn't even know Sean Strickland landed 165 punches. I didn't even know that. Like when I was watching the fight, the same jab kept on landing. And yes, he did outland DDP, but I outlanded Henry Cejudo the second time, and I still lost because he took me down 3 or 4 times, and he did nothing with the takedown. So I always find it funny that a lot of people like to use a lot of energy and say, "Oh man, that fight was da 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 da." The fight scored on 3 judges who probably have no background in mixed martial arts or martial arts whatsoever that I know of. They might be world champions, but I don't know. I don't put a lot of energy into it, right? Like the judges had it, split decision, DDP. I felt it went the right way. If it would have went to Sean Strickland, I wouldn't have been mad. I would have been like, okay, it went to Sean Strickland. But I mean, the chat, you guys, I feel like Sean Strickland's getting a lot of people. He's got a nice little following that people get mad and you guys be coming after your boy, but that's okay. Bring it. I'm all here for it. Like I said, I think Sean Strickland, for this type of style he's bringing to a fight, just with the boxing, I think it's very easy to beat. That's just my point of view. If I was like Luke Rockhold, I think Luke Rockhold will destroy Sean Strickland. Luke Rockhold has a body kick. He's athletic. He's got some good hands. He's got the wrestling. I think what gets people beat by Sean Strickland is his constant pressure. But you guys notice Sean Strickland wasn't pressing forward, as we saw in the breakdowns. If you guys go back and watch the breakdowns, we broke down Sean Strickland versus Jared, and we also broke down DDP versus Derek Brunson. DDP doesn't back up. That was the biggest thing I saw, is that DDP comes to the edge of the void. He sits with his hands high, and he decides how he's going to approach the fight. Sean Strickland, when he's not going forward, aka when he fight Jared, he never was able to go forward. He had to go backwards. And Sean Strickland doesn't do very well when he goes backward, because when you're backing up like this is not a position to be able to counter left hook, but the right hand isn't going to be available because your weight's going backwards. So that's my thing. Did he just say Luke Rockhold beat Strickland? Yeah, I think Luke Rockhold could beat Sean Strickland. I think Luke Rockhold has way more tools than Sean Strickland. I think Luke Rockhold's more explosive and more athletic than Sean Strickland. That's my opinion. You guys can disagree or agree. That's why it's called in my opinion. It's also called freedom of speech. Chia. Well, damn. I'm looking at some of the question. What are you going to destroy Bradley Bully Martin? I'm not even worried about that. Okay. Michael, you thought that Sean Strickland won, right? Like you said, you texted me like, oh, Sean Strickland won that fight.
No, yeah, so no, so I thought he did win the fight, but I was surprised. So I had it rounds 1, 2, and 5 going to Strickland. But
See,
what
I
was
don't think
interesting,
he won the 5th round. Like, what part of the 5th
you
round?
don't think he won the?
I don't think he
Are
won
you
the 5th round.
serious?
Yeah, I'm
What?
dead ass serious. Like
let me just explain to you. So all 3 judges gave the 5th round to Strickland. So there was agreement there. But yeah, so where there wasn't, I gave Strickland, at least personally on my own scorecard, the 2nd, but none of the 3 judges did that. So you can make fun of me for that.
right there.
Yeah,
See,
but
this is the problem with mixed martial arts. Okay, I will never forget this. I had a conversation with the gentleman. He goes, "You don't even play in a real sport." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "You don't play in a real sport." I was like, "Okay, go on. Explain how you came to this conclusion with the data you've been able to gather." He says, "Well, think about it. If you were to play basketball, I score more points than you, which means I am the winner. If I play football, I score more points than you, then I am the winner. I literally take this leather skin ball, put it across this line, and I get 7 points. Same thing with running in track, 1 mile, 2 mile, 100-meter dash, 200-meter dash, 400-meter dash. If I come across the finish line first, I am declared the winner. Now, in mixed martial arts, you have to have 3 people sit across the octagon, cage, ring, whatever the fuck it may be, and decide who won the fight, right? It's dictated on them. It's almost like bodybuilding competition. Let's say I have a bigger pectorals, I have bigger trapezie, my body is looking banging, and this person, it doesn't look as big as me, but the judges give it to him, right? He goes, so technically, you're not in a sport. Your sport's, evolved around people's assumptions or opinions or whatever it may be. Unless I knock you out, unless I finish you or submit you, then I am declared the winner. So we all can sit here, all 885, and let me see, me and you, Michael, that's 887 of us can sit here like, well, I had round 1, or I had round 3, or I had round 6. What are we scoring on? What if I score a takedown more than those stupid ass jabs he was throwing, right? And then you're like, well, those don't count. We're all sitting here arguing about who we had. That's why I don't put a lot of energy into the bullshit. I'm just like, hey, I thought DDP won. Here's X, Y, and Z. You don't have to agree with me. It is what it is. This is what I thought. X, Y, and then I'm done. I just walk away from the conversation. So that's why I always have a hard time with this stuff. But like you said, you had round 2, right? And then the judges had, all 3 judges disagreed with you, correct?
Repeat that again.
You said the judges had, you had round 2. You gave round 2 to DDP, right?
Well, no. So I had, because also I do want to mention, I hear an echo, which I'm sure people will complain about because you're not wearing headphones, DJ. But so I just wanted to apologize for that. But so no, what? Yeah, no. No, yes. So either way, though, yeah, I'll switch to solo right now so that DJ could. Are you? What do you do? Are you just putting it down on the laptop?
Yeah, I just put it down on the laptop.
Okay. No. So back to your question. So no, I gave the 2nd round to Strickland, but all 3 judges gave the 2nd round to DDP. The 5th round, all 3 judges gave to Strickland, but you're even not convinced with that. I would say my biggest thing is, and I saw, kind of, if you look at the stats, right? Strickland, I have the stats, right here. Strickland, 173 SIG strikes to DDP 137. He was a little bit more efficient, 42% SIG strike percentage, 38% for DDP. And I understand the point you're making, that a lot of those strikes are kind of those jabs that Strickland's throwing. So how much value do you put on those versus the bigger shots that DDP landed? But I will say, if you look at DDP's face, though, and that's why we got a lot of shit with our thumbnail, because they're like, oh, you're doing I was confused because a lot of people were like, oh, you're doing Strickland dirty, and it did make sense with what they're saying, because they're like, yeah, you're showing Strickland all bloodied up, and after the fight, DDP had these, bumps on his face, so they were kind of just like, why are you not putting those in the thumbnail? So that's a decent, but yeah. But You still stand by that though, that you think the 5th round, you're not gonna even give that to Strickland, because 5th round Strickland, I could sense a little bit of him knowing I gotta put my foot on the pedal. I'm gonna go a little bit harder. He definitely outlanded him. I don't have the strikes in front of me, or actually I do. I take that back. So round 5 was 53-35, which is closer than I thought, but 53 strikes to 35 for Strickland. And then for round 2, which was I was talking about, DDP did outstrike him. So maybe round 2 was a little bit more DDP than I thought. But
I don't know. I think the biggest thing is, like I said, I just feel when I just see, once again, if DDP lands a big right hand, does that equal 20 of, Sean Strickland's jabs? I mean, there's one right here. Don't worry about it. Take it for the $5. He says, how did DDP win round 3 when he got outstruck and didn't land any takedowns? DDP did nothing with any of those 6 takedowns. Sean got right back up. Yeah, like I said, we're all sitting here like arguing about how he won, the 6 takedowns. So do takedowns not count for anything, right? Like, I feel there isn't really a broken down curriculum. What if we can say, well, you know what? Sean backed up the whole entire time and landed those 60 jabs. Those 60 jabs don't equal the 2 big, heavy right hands that, DDP landed, right? So that's the hardest thing when you're trying to score a fight that's super close like this. Like, what does a jab count for? How many, everything's based off this 10-9 point system. How does a jab score? What is a jab worth? If you jab me and I leg kick you, what's worse? I'd rather get jabbed than fucking leg kick, because a leg kick hurts. Jabs don't really hurt. I mean, that's just me as an athlete who's fought for 18 years. I'm not going to let somebody compromise my legs because I can't move. If you hit with a couple of jabs or whatnot, that's fine. It's just, boom, boom, boom. But, thank you for that question.
So we have the stats here. I don't know if you're looking at the stream, DJ, but I got them pulled up right now. Do you see them?
Don't get me wrong. Sean Strickland did outland. I mean, he did outland. It's just like the same thing with Brandon Moreno versus Figgy. Brandon Moreno outlanded Figgy way more, but Figgy hit him like a truck, and each time Figgy hit him, he dropped. And Brandon Moreno said the exact same thing. He goes, dude, I hit him way more times. It's not my fault. I don't have power, and I can't drop him. I hit him 20 times. He hits me once. What happens to, okay, that's 19 to 1. I hit him 19 times more than he hit me. Right? It's the same thing. This isn't guys, you guys are acting like this is the very first time this shit has happened. There's been times where it's a title fight and the guy outstrikes the other guy, but the guy just fucking hits like a freight train, and the judges end up giving it to him. So that's what we got to look at. Like, we don't know what a strike, how that is viewed in the judge's eyes. How is a takedown viewed in the judge's eyes? I know how it's viewed in my eyes, right? But obviously my opinion doesn't persuade what the judges think. It could persuade what you guys think, but we can look at the copy strikes all fucking day. But unless we have like some clear, a jab is worth 5 points. If you get to 100 points, you get the 10-9 round. We have no idea, truly no idea. Right? So Sean Strickland could have landed 200,000 fucking strikes for all we know, and DDP could have landed 1,000 and 5 takedowns. They're like, nope, that he wins the fight. We don't fucking know. We don't fucking know, mates. Okay.
No, yeah, and I want to come in here because that one area where I will agree with you on is the takedowns. I feel like, and I know Laura Senko's done a great job of looking into like the actual specifics of what the criteria is for takedowns, and I think people get a little bit confused sometimes that when someone lands a takedown, it's like, oh, they won the round. It's over right now. Like, so I will say that's another area where I a little bit was on the Strickland side is when you get a takedown, it's about getting that takedown, keeping the control, landing a significant amount of strikes there, going for some submissions. I didn't see any of that from DDP. So like I'm seeing the stats say 6 takedowns, right? But I didn't see that dominance in the grappling necessarily. He wasn't able to keep him down. He wasn't able to do any damage. So I was able to, like, if there was a takedown in a round, it didn't make me immediately go. I do agree with your point though of he's showing that I'm doing something else in mixed martial arts. I'm trying to do something else. That I definitely agree with, but there wasn't much of like getting the takedown, keeping him down, going for submissions, doing ground and pound. So I think that was a little bit where I was able to look past that and be like, oh, Strickland's piecing him up with these jabs. He's throwing a little bit more. So that's a little bit where I was leaning Strickland as well.
Yeah, well, it's like I said, I agree with you, and it's just hard. Like even Pat Healy, thank you for the $9.99 super chat. Anthony Smith said it best after the fight. A takedown is just a position change. Why does it matter if you get taken down and get right back up? By logic of these judges, Jan beat O'Malley too. Okay, so when I was about to fight, thank you for that question. When I was about to fight Henry Cejudo, the ABC Athletic Commission, I believe California, Michael, you can try to look this up. They said that if you get a takedown and you do absolutely nothing with it, it is voided. Right? I believe this is just in California. They came out with this rule set, this judging criteria right before I fight Henry Cejudo the second time. So if somebody takes you down, they don't pass guard or anything like that. They just take you down or whatnot. It's voided. So I do agree with you. It is a position change, right? And it's just, once again, I like it. I like the position change just because it brings another element. It brings another element into the fight, right? And for me, hey, I'm gonna score a takedown. He got 2. You're just fucking boxing. He got 2 takedowns. That's just me. He's throwing a high kick. He's throwing body kicks. That's just me. In Muay Thai, okay, when you fight Muay Thai, granted, this isn't Muay Thai. I'm just telling you guys how judges score stuff. In Muay Thai, if I X block a body kick, my opponent gets points. I get no points for blocking that. He could throw 20 body kicks, and if I block him, he's gaining points. Whereas the boxing, if he hits me and I block it, he gets negative points because he's throwing it and I successfully blocked that. There's so many different judging criteria where I know if I throw a strike and I hit him, I get a point. If I throw a strike and he misses, he slips it and then throws a 6-3 and counters me, I get points for evading the shot and also landing 2 after that. We don't really know what a takedown is scored. How do the judges see it? We just don't know. Yes, it is a position change, but it's still, he successfully landed the takedown because at the end of the day, Sean Strickland could defend the takedown, right? So yes, it is a position change, but Sean Strickland didn't defend the takedown. If it was IBJJF, if it was a wrestling match, he would have got those 2 points. Right. So we just can't. That's the hardest thing about this discussion is how does the UFC judges, not the UFC judges, how does Toronto Athletic State Commission score takedowns? Because every single state has their own athletic commission and they all go by their own rules. That's how we got to decide that. But thank you so much for that $9.99. And great question. It is a position change. It is, but do we count it as points? Do we not count it as points? That's the question. Ours is God. 3/25. Big fan, Mighty Mouse. One question. What do you think Evola's ceiling is in the UFC? Honestly, I have no idea who that gentleman is. Michael, can you give me Evoliv's first name? I have no idea who that is. But a person's ceiling is unlimited there's sky's the limit if you utilize all the forms of martial arts.
He's the guy who fought Arnold Allen.
Arnold Allen. I didn't really pay attention to that fight, so unfortunately, I couldn't tell you. Do you want me to fucking lie? I
want to say one thing for like our fans to know too, like of what I respect about DJ. He will always admit when he doesn't know something and not just be like, man, this guy's a beast and go on and on about him and the card. You know, if we're being totally honest, didn't excite us too much other than the main event from just we love the storylines, you know? And so yeah, did you watch that Arnold Allen fight, DJ?
I did not.
Okay.
I was playing Street Fighter 6 and you were yelling at me.
You should explain why you started playing Street Fighter 6.
Oh,
because we were just taking L's. We were taking L's on prize picks.
I'll explain after this. I want to get to these questions before they go off the screen.
Yeah. Okay.
So thank you for that 25 AED. Appreciate it. Young G, thank you so much for the 49. I thought Sean had round 2 since that was the round 2. The jab closed up DDP's eye and told us after the fight, which I didn't think many thoughts. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the jab, once again, we're back on it again. It's based on what the judges thought. I mean, that jab did do. Here's a good example. If your opponent gets cut and you see a lot of blood, does that damage overtake the swollen eye? I don't know, because there is a damage criteria, right? You know, if his eye gets swollen and DDP keeps on, if DDP's eye gets swollen, he won't be able to see. But if Sean Strickland doesn't get that cut fixed, he's gonna bleed out. I have no idea. This is an escape from Tarkov. I don't know what the judges claim is more significant damage over the jab closing his eye and DDP landing that jab to cut him. I have no idea, but I agree with you. It could be something that we have to, once again, I think what the judges should do. This is what all the judges did when I was an amateur in mixed martial arts, kickboxing, Muay Thai, whatever it is. Well, before I would fight, the judges would come in the room with all the athletes and they say, "Okay, guys, we are scoring this fight based on your activity." Now, for example, let's say you're sitting here doing X, Y, and Z. The judges would actually explain it before we would fight, right? And then the referees still do this to this day. Like Herb Dean will come in the back of the locker room and say, "Hey, Demetrious, hey, I'm going to be repping your fight. All right, you know the rules. I'm a down opponent. You cannot knee me. In one championship, I can knee my opponent, but you can't knee a down opponent. Oh, also, if you're doing this, if you're putting your fingers out, I'm going to tell you palms up. Make sure you keep your palms up. Let me check your nails. Your nails look good." The referee goes through the rules and the curriculum and the stuff that he's looking for to not stop the fight. And he's going to say, "Hey, if I see you're in a guard, I'm going to let you work a little bit. Then I'm going to say, "Hey, I want to see some advancement. If you're not advancing, I'm going to stand you up. If I see you guys in the clinch, I don't see any activity, I'm going to separate you guys." The ref comes to you and lets you know. So why can't the judges do that? Why can't the judges do Thursday? "Hey, I'm going to have red corner. I'm going to have blue corner. Hey, guys, welcome. I know you guys super excited. We have one championship. I want to go over the judging criteria. Now, obviously, if you knock your opponent out, you submit your opponent, then you don't need me. I don't need to be here. But I am here just in case you guys do not finish." So this is what I'm looking for. Damage. How do I score damage as a judge? But then again, the athlete's going to just try to play to the judge's scorecard. Like, okay, well, Demetrius said he scores leg kicks more than jabs. So I'm just going to go out there and leg kick the fuck out of him. I mean, it's such a hard thing to do. It is a hard thing to do because if I go in the locker room and ask John Jones, "How do you think the judge is going to score your jab?" He'll be like, "Well, I don't know, Mighty. I don't know. I just think I'm going to jab and then I'm going to poke him in the eyes. And when you can't see him, I'm going to try to hit him." I have no idea. He doesn't know either. I don't know. That's why I just go out there and try to finish the fight. So, yeah. Don't worry about it. Thank you for another $5. A lot of DDP kicks, leg kicks that were counted as significant strikes were checked. Do you think check kicks should be counted as a strike, DJ? It's once again, in Muay Thai, that would count for a point because if I kick, I made you check, right? If I kick your body and you check it, I get a point. Once again, we have to ask the judges. We have to ask the curriculum what the judges are scoring, because if I throw a leg kick and you check it, yes, I checked that kick, which means I should get the point. I don't know. That's why sometimes I kind of like one championship rule set where it's like we don't score the fight by round by round by round. We score the fight as an whole, right? And so after I watch, if I would have watched Sean Strickland and DDP fight on the street, I would have walked away and say, "Yeah, I thought DDP won that fight." That's just me. That's how I score the fight. That's how I felt with the gut. When I watched the fight, I thought he won. So, yeah. Jag Demisio, think of it a 2. He says, "Do you think Sean Strickland should move to boxing?" No, I don't think so. I think, guys, you guys always think I'm a hater on Sean. Sean Strickland has become a world champion with the Philly shell style and all his other skills that he's done. I think he would be very good at boxing. But here, once again, if he was to go into boxing, he's going to fight a legit boxer, right? He beats Jake Paul any day of the week. But, I think he'll be very successful in boxing. Thoughts on Sean getting a headbutt, which cut him? It wasn't a headbutt. It was a jab. They slowed it down. It it was a jab from what I saw. Austrian Axel, thank you for the 79. How should I convince my coworkers that Wing Chun Wing Chun is fake and doesn't work? He's convinced Wing Chun would dominate the UFC if they were allowed. Well, my friend, I think Wing Chun is allowed in mixed martial arts and in the UFC in all the organizations. I think you just got to look at the scope of like how many people do you see using Wing Chun in those organizations. But thank you for the 79 and the good laugh. Okay, a little bit more on this, and I want to move on to, you know, what's next for DDP and Sean Strickland. A lot of people are saying immediate rematch. Honestly, I think I'll be okay without seeing the rematch. Reason why is because I think we're going to see the exact same thing. I don't think I think you have to give the athletes more time to actually develop their skills. Hang on one second. This person said, "Thank you, Mighty. Sean and all these salty fans calling a headbutt. No headbutt. Yeah, guys, it wasn't a headbutt. They actually slowed it down and said it wasn't a headbutt. It was a jab. It was a jab that cut him right here, right there, that caused the blood. They slowed it down. I saw it. I'm not blind. My vision is 2015. Air Force 7, congratulations. You just got banned. Ban you, saying the N word in here. God damn it, I can't get it. I'll get you lit. There it is. Ban this guy. Where is he at? Put user in timeout. Hi, user from the channel. Bye. Have a good time. Okay. So, what does DDP and Sean Strickland do from here? I'm always a fan. There's no point for an immediate rematch. Only reason why you do immediate rematch or an organization wants to do immediate rematch is to capture lightning in a bottle. They want to capture like, ooh, this fight just happened. There's a lot of, commotion about it. Let's run it back and try to make more money than we did the last time. I rather see Sean Strickland go off, fight the number one contender or fight number 2, number 3, whoever it may be. And you know what? Even now, the hardest thing is DDP needs an opponent. I think you do Izzy versus DDP, right? But even for me, I would like to see Izzy work on his craft. I know Izzy's been going out doing his thing, living his best life, but I hope at this time he's been in the gym working on like just developing his skills. Like, hey, I'm gonna work on my clinch, I'm gonna work on my wrestling, I'm gonna work on this X, Y, and Z. I just hope he does that, where it gives the other athletes time to work on their skill set as well and do it. So Vladimir Kanchin, thank you for the $2, says, who's typing for you? I know that's not you typing. It's probably Michael. I mean, earlier.
Yeah. Just so everyone knows, I'm obviously the not to break the fourth wall. Obviously, I'm the one typing DJ's. I mean, DJ's. You could obviously see he's looking through the chat and he's reading as many questions as you can. But I'm also typing while he's on, so that solves that mystery.
Yeah.
Right there.
Or you know what they could do? Perfect. See, this is why I love you guys. I always forget because I can't keep track of all of the athletes in a division. But somebody says ours is gold. Think of it at 25. He says winner of Whitaker Costa goes up against Strickland if Costa doesn't pull out again. No. I think you do winner versus Costa. If Paulo Costa wins, I think you do Costa versus DDP. I think it'll be a fucking banger fight. Do DDP versus Costa, and then if Whitaker loses, then Whitaker can fight Sean Strickland, and then we got to keep Izzy busy. So Izzy can fight. Izzy can either fight DDP or Izzy can take more time to get his skill set ready and do DDP versus Paulo Costa. That's what I would do. I mean, everybody's in a rush to try to make these fights happen, and this guy's got to fight this guy. That's what I would do. I would love to see Paulo Costa versus DDP. I think it'd be a great fight. I believe Costa will pull out. Yeah, he might pull out. That's why ain't got no kids. He probably pulling out too. And Sean will replace on short notice to fight Whitaker. Who you got in that match? Woo! Whitaker versus Sean Strickland. Once again, if Whitaker backs up, Sean wins. If Whitaker stays dynamic, those kicks, doesn't fall into that pressure and doesn't just box Sean Strickland, I think Robert Whitaker can win. Now, that's just my opinion based off of all the data I have from these two guys. I've seen Sean Strickland go forward and destroy people with his pressure, and I see Sean Strickland get stifled by not being able to go forward. He goes backwards and he gets stifled, and he has a harder time with their opponent because Sean Strickland, this is the first time Sean Strickland lately hasn't wrestled. Sean Strickland doesn't throw body kicks. He throws a teep, but a teep is to keep somebody at bay. That's what a teep is used for. A teep is like, stay there, stay there. A teep isn't for when I throw my body kick, my body 9, I'm trying to destroy the liver. I'm trying to break your ribs. I'm trying to break your arm. Same thing with the body 10. Same thing with the high 10, high 9. I'm trying to knock you out with the head kick. A teep is designed to keep somebody at bay. You do teep, you do 7, 2, 3, 10. 7, stay there. 2, 3, body 10. A teep is not designed. A push kick can, hurt somebody to the body, but at this level, it's very, very, very rare. But thank you for that. All right. Did we miss anything about this? Everybody forgetting about my boy Cannoneer. Yeah, Jared's in the wings too. I just think it brings a breath of fresh air. It doesn't bring a breath fresher air because Sean Strickland just got the belt and he just lost it. But I don't want to see an immediate rematch. I'd rather see these guys. Look at this Falcon guy. We got Falcon. The MMA guru in here. What's up, DJ? Adesanya versus we also have a Hamzat. That's the fight right there. Thank you, MMA Guru. Thank you for the $10 as the co-main event of McGregor versus Chandler. Easy 1.5 million pay-per-view sales. Enjoying the content, brother. Keep it coming. Adesanya versus Hamzat. Woo! And that's a thing too. I think you do that. You do Hamzat versus Izzy, and then you do the winner of Costa versus Whitaker gets the title shot. Then the winner of Hamzat versus Izzy gets the winner of the title shot. That's how you do it. Shout out to MMA Guru. Make sure you give MMA Guru a follow. This man is also doing some beautiful content on YouTube. And MMA Guru, we gotta do a collab, man. Just me and you just chopping it up. That'd be good. I think the fans will love that shit. Yeah, that's all. I was forgetting about Hamzat. Hamzat just came off. He won his last fight, but he was super sick. I think he has a lot of medical problems. So, okay, I want to move on. Other than that, I thought the card was why did I start playing Street Fighter 6? Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, we do have Prize Picks. Prize Picks is a big sponsor for the Mighty Gaming channel and the MIGHTYcast. And we did some Prize Picks, and we didn't do very well. I will always go less. Okay. When it says they project this person to land 76.5 strikes, I will always go less because 76.5 strikes is a lot of strikes, significant strikes. Those strikes have to land, and you don't account for the wrestling. You also don't account for knockouts. You also don't account for the other person beating a person up. Sean Strickland landed 157 strikes, and Bruno Silva, we actually won that pick because she did I think it was 72 strikes. But I was pissed off, man. We were, and then the Jordan fight that went 5 full rounds. So I was like, I'm over it. I'm gonna go play Street Fighter 6. I'm not gonna watch the rest of the card until the co-main and the main event went on. But it is what it is. Okay, all right. Ooh, we got some questions here. Okay, DDP admittedly was shooting takedowns to pad the scorecard while he didn't keep Strickland down or do damage. Should that be judged or scored indifferently? I like scoring it because he did something different. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not one of the judges. That's how I'm judging it. I like that he did the takedown because it just adds a different element of the fight. I'm looking at something different. If I want to watch somebody just jab somebody up and box him, I would watch Jake Paul do something. That's just my personal opinion. You guys don't like it. You guys don't have to take it. It's just my personal opinion. Now, if Sean Strickland was jab and came across and forced the clinch, did an elbow, then I would be more inclined. But he's just content with this. He's content with that style, and I'm just not the biggest fan of it. If my son were to watch the mixed martial arts, I would say, I don't want you fighting like Sean Strickland. I want you to fight like DDP because he's throwing more kicks. He's taking more risk. He's doing a takedown. That's just me as an athlete. Okay. But think for that $5 DF40. It's like same thing. I had a conversation with somebody at the gym and they said, who would you rather your son fight like? Habib or Charles Oliveira? I said, Charles Oliveira. And he goes, why? And I said, because I feel Charles Oliveira is dangerous in more places. And he goes, well, what do you mean? I was like, well, I feel like Charles can knock you out. He can submit you from anywhere, not just from the back. He can go in his back. He has his leg lock game. He has his guillotine. He has the calf slicer. He's very good in the clinch. He has good boxing. Where Habib is amazing too, but Habib likes to wrestle and get you down and pass your guard to smother you. So it's my opinion. Like if I can choose what athlete I want to take, like the powers of, I'm going to take Charles and put it on my kids because I will teach them, okay, you have Charles' ability. I can teach you how to not get hit and move and X, Y, and Z, but you already have that. I'm going to give you the things that I feel you have to put more. It's harder. It's easier to teach somebody how to wrestle. It's harder to teach people how to look good and move very good on the feet and use a clinch and elbow. That's just my personal opinion. Don't hate me, Habib. You're still one of the GOATs. DDP admittedly was shooting. Yeah, we're going to answer that one. Monkey D. Luffy. Hello, GOAT. Awesome video as always. And Sean was robbed. Well, a lot of people think he's robbed, but you know what? The beautiful thing about mixed martial arts is you can work your way back up to get unrobbed, as you can say. All right, we're moving forward. And another thing too, if you go watch the Raquel Pennington versus Silva, that was a great fight because Silva would shoot the takedown. She would not succeed to takedown. She would come up to the clinch. She would start throwing knees, and then she would try to go for that choke. When she would lose the choke, Raquel would pop her head up and she would throw an elbow. Like that was a more of a fluid motion of watching that fight. And I just enjoyed watching that fight. Congrats to Raquel Pennington. Congrats to Sean Strickland and DDP. At the end of the day, I want to see every fighter make as much money as possible. And I am never rooting for anybody. I am always going to root for Israel Adesanya. I'm always going to root for my favorites because I like those guys. But against DDP versus Sean Strickland, I have no favorite. So don't you guys get all like butthurt if I thought Sean lost and I thought DDP won. Do you think it's worth it for DDP to invest some time in working on his jab defense? Other than Strickland, is it widely used as in that division? No, Sean Strickland has a beautiful jab. His jab is fast. Like I think DDP going to the edge and waiting there and eating those jabs from Sean Strickland, it's not the best thing to do, but it won him the fight. Hey, we got a big dig donation. All right, let's see this. Ha! You doing Mighty Mouse? How you doing, Mighty Mouse? Do you think Arnold Allen was robbed as Evolive? I think so. And that weasel does according to his he was robbed video. Also, do you think the UFC is biased in favor of wrestlers? These knees were illegals. Okay. Michael, can you confirm, was that the guy who got kneed in the head?
Yeah, so what he's referencing, and this is an issue that I think this is a very good question because I think and DJ, you're someone as good as anyone to talk on it because I know you are very for allowing the knees and the stuff on a grounded opponent because what he's referencing is there was a controversial call in the Arnold Allen fight where the referee stepped in because to avoid the quote unquote illegal knees, but it didn't. I hate the games like and
Yes.
you could speak on this, but I hate the games that the fighters are playing now that they know like, oh, I can put my hand down and it just ruins it. They should just let them. You could hit a grounded opponent, defend yourself. You speak on that though, the whole grounded opponent thing.
Yes, and actually when you mentioned that, I do remember that fight. I actually did watch that fight. Yes, so I don't know how to say the other guy's name. How do you say his name? Michael.
Oh, sorry. I'm butchering this too now. Evloev.
Evlov. So
No,
I did
no,
watch
no,
that fight.
no.
So he was he was shredded.
No, I definitely botched that. But
Yeah, he was
I don't
shredded.
know-
I
I don't know
remember
how
that
to say
fight.
it.
He was a brunette gentleman.
oh no, he's shredded. He's really good. He actually fought. I don't know if you remember, but he fought on Henry's card when he fought All Joe. He fought Diego Nunes. It was fight of the night. Really good fight.
Okay.
on
Yeah,
that
I
same
feel like
card.
he could be well-rounded. He kind of had like he was pretty good. Um, but by the knees on the ground, that gentleman was playing that game, right? That's why one championship implemented that rule is that if I put my hand on the ground, it stops the progression of the fight, right? Even when Aljamain Sterling did it too, it stops the progression of the fight. But when he was playing that game, he got what he deserved. And I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad the ref did an amazing job right there. He didn't dock any points from Allen because Allen threw those knees, I believe. So I was very, very happy about that. But I feel that that wasn't the deciding factor of the fight. I think those two guys were just evenly matched, and not one could execute their game plan more than the other one. So thank you for that, Big D Dono. I appreciate that. And do I think UFC is biased in favor of wrestlers? No, not really, because the UFC isn't judging the scorecard. It's the judges are scoring. The judges are scoring the fight. So I don't think the UFC really cares. I think the UFC probably favors more strikers who knock people out because those bring the eyeballs. I mean, shit, look at Power Slap. It's like a $478 million business this year. So no, I don't think they favor wrestlers. But thank
And
you
I
so
should
much
say
for
it's
that.
Eve Loev.
Eve
Eve
Loev.
Loev.
Eve
Elo.
Loev.
Yep.
Yeah.
Eve Loev. Yep. So
Gotcha.
there we go.
But ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna take a quick commercial break. Gonna give a shout out to one of our sponsors, G Fuel. Go ahead, run it, Michael. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This podcast is sponsored by G Fuel. Now, G Fuel has amazing products. One of my favorite products is the Energy Formula. How do I like to enjoy my G Fuel? I'll tell you how I like to enjoy it. I like to take my Energy Formula G Fuel when I am going to the gym to start throwing some iron around. Now, G Fuel comes in a lot of delicious flavors. Right here, we have the Sage Mode, which is Naruto Shippuden. And then we also have another flavor, which is their Blue Ice. Very delicious. And then finally, one of their peak performance, or one of their best selling products, which is the Clickbait G Fuel. Now, if you guys want to take your energy level in the gym to a whole new level, go to gfuel.com. Make sure you use my promo code MIGHTY. That will save you 20% on your complete order. And if you can, try out the Mega Man Blueberry Slushy. It's absolutely amazing. It's my favorite flavor, also in the cans. Thank you to G Fuel for sponsoring this video. Get yourself some G Fuel and get fueled. Ah. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that commercial and get yourself some G Fuel. Make sure you use my promo code MIGHTY. Save 20%. Okay. D40, another $5 donation. DDP admittedly was shooting takedowns. Yeah, we already answered that. Pad the scorecard. While he didn't keep Strickland down or do damage, should that be judged, scored differently? Guys, you hear it all the time, even in the corners. We need to take down this round. We need to take down this round. I don't know. I think a lot of people do a takedown to get ahead in the judges scorecards. I mean, shit. I think as an athlete, if I'm going to go for a takedown just to put a stamp on the round, I would hope I take the person down, pass their guard, and look for a submission, and at least get some couple strikes off. So do I think DDP was padding his the scorecard with the takedowns? Maybe. I don't know. You have to ask him. Maybe we'll have DDP on the show. Okay. All right, moving forward. So I felt like we covered everything with the DDP versus Sean Strickland. If you guys have any other questions about that and what we thought, just go back and look at the previous videos we did in the breakdown. But I thought it was a good fight. Do I think Izzy deserved a title shot? I mean, I'm always going to say I think Izzy deserves a title shot because I'm a big fan of his. But I would rather see him fight Hamzat first. Lit Paul, if Costa wins, I don't know what Costa has been doing, what's his win record, but I wouldn't mind seeing DDP versus Costa. Why not? I don't know. I don't know. Why not? So, all right, let's move forward. A couple amazing things that are coming up in the pipeline this weekend. We have a huge card with one championship, a ballin' ass card. You have Super Lake taking on Dakura. You have Rotolo Brother taking on Lane Gaker 2. Shinya Aoki taking on Sage Northcutt. That should be a banger. And then Sexy Yama. Damn, he's so sexy. Look at that skin color, dude. He's just always fucking shredded. He's like 65 years old, taking on Nikki Holskin in a mixed rules fight. And then you have Hirata taking on Mura. That's Sunday, January 28th, 5 p.m. JST. That's Japan Standard Time. You guys can watch this bad boy on the pay-per-view. Watch onefc.com, Abima pay-per-view. That's going to be a sick fight. Takura was supposed to fight Ratang, but Ratang had to back out of the fight. I think he injured his hand. We're going to be dropping the videos this week, Super League versus Ratang, the breakdown of it. I thought Ratang won that fight. We're also breaking down Tenshin versus Takura. If you guys haven't seen Tenshin fight before or Takura, they're the best kickboxers to ever come out of Japan and to ever be involved in the world. And the mixed rules fight, Nikki Holskin versus Sexyama, this one came out of left field. I was not expecting this one at all. It's 3-round fight. I believe the first round is boxing in 4-ounce gloves. And the second round, let me get to my thing on my computer. I can't remember what the second round is. Second round is probably kickboxing. And then the third round is MMA. So that should be definitely bad. Definitely that was very bad judging. Well, we're already past that, my friend, cheated soul. And then you have Shinya Aoki fighting Sage Northcutt. Sage Northcutt got knocked out really bad and broke his face, and he came back and he won his last one when we fought in May last year. And then now he's going to fight Shinya Aoki. I think Sage beats him. I think Shinya is, I think it's time for, I think this is Shinya's final fight of his career. And Shinya Aoki is an absolutely amazing athlete. Okay, and then also on the card, you have the Rotolo brothers taking on those two fight again. If you guys are big into grappling, I'm more into IBJJF style grappling because you have a point system. Once again, I keep it real. I don't really know. I don't agree with catches. I caught your ankle. I rather like, hey, if I take you down, give me 2 points. Hey, if I pass your guard, give me 3 points. If I mount you, give me 4. If I take you back, give me 4. If I do knee right, I get 2. I think that's more easier for the fans to follow. Gordon Ryan versus Hamzat. Well, Gordon Ryan, his stomach's tore up, man. That makes me sad because I want to see Gordon Ryan at ADCC this year, but it won't happen. No way they do Hamzat versus Izzy. They will wait. They will want Izzy to win. No, they won't. I think Hamzat versus Izzy probably does very, very well on paper, like selling a pay-per-view. That can headline a pay-per-view. Hamzat versus Izzy. I think that would do better numbers than DDP versus Sean Strickland. My personal opinion. Ghost Diaz, welcome to the community, my friend. Appreciate that. Welcome. Okay. Also, we have another amazing thing that just happened. PFL versus Bellator. They just announced that card, and that is also another card stacked from top to bottom. One of the things I love about this is that Bellator is the only organization in the world that does it often, where it does Bellator versus Ryzen, right? Like I like to think of myself as a hardcore fan. I love when I can see a Bellator champion fight another champion, not just a Bellator champion. I love to see a champion from one organization fight another champion from a different organization, like one championship versus UFC, or one versus Bellator, or Ryzen versus UFC. You're never really going to see that nowadays. But at one point in time, Bellator and Ryzen, they would co-promote and lend each other their champions. You would see Patricio Pitbull fight in Ryzen, and then you will see AJ McKee fight Roberto Satoshi, which was the Ryzen champion, right? But now since PFL bought Bellator, you're going to be able to see the Bellator champion, which is Patricio Pitbull, fighting the PFL champion. You're going to see AJ McKee, which is another champion, fight the PFL champion. So, and you also have Yoel Romero fighting Thiago Thor Santos. Like, that is absolute fucking banger fight as well, because I didn't know Thiago Santos was part of the PFL whole acquisition. I mean, those are all super fights. They're all bangers from top to bottom. And then eventually, I think we're going to see Kelly Harris versus Christina Cyborg. I mean, whenever that fight decides to happen, it's like WWE champ versus UFC champ. I mean, besides WWE champs, that's all orchestrated and played, right? It's all who's gonna win, who's gonna lose. So that's gonna be another dope thing. We're probably gonna be breaking down those fights because I'm a big fan of AJ McKee. You guys don't know that, but his fight against Carlisle was an absolute banger. And there's a card right there. I mean, just from top to bottom, stacked. Champions versus champions, PFL versus Bellator. Ryan Bader's fighting. I mean, he's done very well in the UFC. Patricio Pitbull fighting. He's taking on Jesus Pinedo. I mean, Clay Collard. I believe Clay Collard beat Anthony Pettis. He's actually a really, really good boxer. I mean, Vadim Nemkov. I mean, it's stacked top to bottom. You're not. There's gonna be bangers all over the fucking place, all over the place. So, we're also gonna be covering that as well. All right, we got a couple of don't knows. Okay, Czar, thank you for the 35. What do you think of Strickland versus Paulo Costa next? I think Paulo Costa destroys him. So, no, I think Paulo Costa hits harder. I think he'll be more inclined to just go. But I also can see Sean Strickland stifling him, like shutting him down with a jab and just that thing. But if Paulo Costa goes there, like, here's the thing, guys. If you have this, if I throw a hard body kick, you have to respect it. You have to. Your hands have to go either catch it or you're gonna eat it. Like Super Leg, no, what's the gentleman's name? Taiwan Chai. Okay. Taiwan Chai is a good example of how you utilize a body kick. Taiwan Chai would kick your body and force you to block, and he broke a gentleman's arm by doing that. Okay, let me say it one more time. When you have your arms like this, and if I kick them and you don't catch my kick and you block like this, you can have your arm broken, right? Alistair Overeem has done it in K1 kickboxing. He kept kicking the guy, and the guy kept on just checking it. He didn't throw a counter. He didn't catch it. He just kept on blocking it. Alistair Overeem broke the guy's arm. It's a very common thing that you see people do when somebody doesn't like respect the kick, right? So if I was Paulo Costa, if I was his coach, I'm like, hey, Sean Sugar's going to come out in the Philly shell style. We're going to keep distance, and we get close. I want you to throw the hardest body kick you can in your whole entire life. One, he's not going to catch it. If he catches it, you're going to go to the clinch, and you're going to clinch him, and you're going to start throwing knees and look for a sweep. Two, if he doesn't catch it, perfect. I want you to throw another one. If he doesn't catch that one, throw another one. I want you to break his arm. That's what I would do. Okay. Derek Williams, thank you for $4.99. He says, DJ, I have to say you are a GOAT at MMA. I appreciate you, brother. Derek Williams, I appreciate you for coming here and giving us a view and giving your thoughts. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you to all 1,001 of you guys making this a very successful live MIGHTYcast. We already have our next guest. Since you guys are here, I'll tell you who the next guest is. The next guest is Tyron Woodley. We had him on, and it was absolutely amazing. We're going to have him on, excuse me. It will not be live because we have no idea what he's going to say. We can't have, him, going off the cuff and, cussing up in X, Y, and Z or whatnot. So read the chat. DJ, I saw your breakdown on that strongman MMA. He was training with Aspinall. You should watch how good Aspinall is teaching. The big guy won't win, but I was impressed that Aspinall could be a good coach. Yeah, man. Tom Aspinall, he's very, very good, very big, very athletic, very dynamic, very good hands, can move back and forth, good wrestling. I think the bodybuilder is in a good place. Mikey Misimichi versus Demetrious Johnson. Maybe one day, if I become a black belt and we join a tournament together, we'll and if I make it to the finals, because his ass is gonna make it to the finals. This will be Sean will always do, which is the defensive boxing. Exactly. So what I do when I look at an athlete, like for example, I'm going to do the flip side. If I was Sean Strickland, how would I approach the fight with Paulo Costa? I would use my jab, and I would jab the body, get him going upstairs, downstairs, thinking about the body, and I would keep him away. I wouldn't let him get close to me. And then I will use my teeps to keep him away. Then every once in a while, I'll throw leg kicks in there. Like I just feel, and then I would say walk him down. If force the walk down, if he comes across distance, you go into clinch range. I would force Sean to clinch. I'm like, Sean, you're not gonna box all the time. You're gonna start fucking clinching because it's gonna make your stand up even better. So that's just me. That's what. And guys, when I talk like this is Matt Hume talking through me, right? Like Matt Hume, I said it in the final prediction. When I would win fights, like when I throw, let me think. When I knocked out Henry Cejudo in the very first fight and I destroyed him, do you think we went back to the gym on Monday? We're like, oh man, good job. It was amazing. We're going to just keep on working the clinch. Absolutely not. Matt, we went back and Matt goes, okay, so Henry got you with that inside trip. Okay, we're going to work a little more of your wrestling takedown defense. And then we're also going to work a little bit more on the clinch game because it took too long to knock him out in the clinch. And then I also want to work on your stand-up. So we're going to keep on working. Good job, but let's try to make you a complete fighter. And I knocked him out in 2 minutes and 36 seconds. Think about that. Every single title fight, after I would win, we would go back in the lab and try to sharpen this fucking blade as sharp as it can. That way this thing is cutting through bamboo by going ching, right? So I have that mentality built in my mind. It is built in my system. I will be like this to the day I die. Even in my kids jiu-jitsu. When my son first started jiu-jitsu, he was a way better. Why? It's because he would pull guard. He would go scissor sweep. If he couldn't succeed with the scissor sweep, he would go Kimura. If he couldn't get the Kimura, he would go triangle. If he couldn't get the triangle, he would go armbar. If he couldn't get that, he would go back to the scissor sweep. He would do this full circle of life with his jiu-jitsu game. Now, he's still good, but his thought process back in the day was so much better because he would cycle through those. Now, he has to bring that first cycle back into his game, and he's going to need to go leaps and bounds. And that's why I keep telling him, I'm like, hey, you have to keep doing this. Even though you submitted this person, you have to do this. And then he'll go out and compete with somebody else. I'm like, hey, you only can do lasso guard. I don't want to see anything else besides lasso guard. Oh, I only want to see De La Hiva. That's all I want to see. I'm forcing my son, even though I'm not the coach, I'm forcing my son to do different things. That way, when he gets in the fight, he can go lasso. He can go De La Hiva. He can go scissor sweep. He can go Kimura. He can go triangle. He can go outside single. He has a big fucking toolbox to be successful instead of, nope, you only can do this. You only can do this. That's where I'm coming from when I say I would force Sean to do more. Like, if he's not ready to do more, you're not fighting anytime soon. You're going to spend time in the gym getting fucking ready. That's how my coach did for me in mixed martial arts. And that's why I think it made me so successful in mixed martial arts. Because anybody I fought, when I fought Kyojo Horiguchi, he was a very good blitzer and he had very good stand-up and good timing. So I smothered the fuck out of him. I would run across the octagon, throw a flying knees, take him down, beat him up, and I would even strike with him. Like, that's just how I am. And if any athlete out there doesn't have the same mindset, then I don't know what to tell you. But that's my mindset. I look at my opponent, I'm like, hey, I look at Paulo Costa. Okay, he's very good. He's very athletic, a lot of muscles. He needs a lot of blood, a lot of oxygen. I'm going to smother him. I want to fight him in the clinch. I'm going to force the wrestling. And then when he gets tired and he's not moving, then I'm going to start moving around and I'm going to start picking him apart with my hands and my kicks in the clinch. And then when he's absolutely dead ass tired, I'm going to take it down. I'm going to pass his guard and then I'm going to look to submit him. But in order to have that mindset, you have to have the best cardio in the world. Like, when I mean best cardio in the world is when I'm doing my conditioning on Mondays, I'm going in and I'm pushing my heart rate to 185 beats per minute. I'm gonna say it again, 185 beats per minute, and I'm gonna keep it there because when I get in the cage, octagon cage, ring, whatever the fuck I'm fighting in, I don't want to have a second thought in my mind like, oh, I can't do this takedown because I'm tired. I refuse to have that mindset where it's like, oh, I can't do that takedown because I'm tired. No, when I fought Henry the second time, after I came back from the first round, even though I won the first round, I wasn't satisfied where I was. So you know what I told my coach? All right, I'm gonna fucking mix it up. I'm gonna shoot on him, even though Henry is one of the best wrestlers in the UFC at the time. I took that shot and I didn't succeed, but I wanted to throw it a piece. It's like playing fucking Uno. I'm throwing fucking reverse back on the card just to throw something down. Sorry about that. That's a mighty tangent. Okay. Ryan Wilson. Thank you for the 499. What's going on, DJ? Big fan. What age is it too old to compete? I mean, it's all based on your age. I mean, when you're talking about compete, are you talking about competing in a professional league, or are you talking about just competing at your local tournament? I mean, that's a very vague question, but I think there's never an age where you cannot compete. Okay. Daniel, did Sean hurt your feelings at the press conference? Well, my name's not Daniel, so I can't answer that. Why did you retire after Cejudo? Never mind. Don't answer that. I know you wanted to switch. All right, a couple more. Michael, chime in if there's anything we're missing. Lord of Pies, think about $5. Yeah, Sean outstruck DDP. The fans are correct, but a jab is considered a range finder. That is true. A jab is considered a range finder and is not going to weigh significantly in the judge's eyes. Once again, I think you answer that question. You answer the question for a lot of people. In the judge's eyes. So a jab is designed to find a range finder. A jab is designed to find the range and then come across with the right hand. To blind your opponent, right hand. The right hand is the kill shot, essentially. And then it goes 1, 2, right? Or left hook. 1, 2, 3, jab. And that's the thing. Sean doesn't really go jab 3. Or he doesn't really go jab 3, 2. It's just jab, 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 jab. It's a beautiful jab, but it's not designed to knock people out, like you say. It's designed to pepper people. Thank you for the $5 donation, brother. Ghost Diaz, thank you for the 10 bones. Demetrious, seriously, thank you, champ, for giving us a tried and true MMA professional opinion channel. This is the diamond in the sea of a coal. Fire times fire. Need you back in UFC. I ain't going back there, fucking company. Guys, and like I said, I am not perfect.
I just also wanted, sorry to interrupt you, but I wanted to pull up people were talking about this.
Are you
looking at the screen right now?
Yeah, I am right now.
So it looks like what Strickland said. If you, I don't know, can you read what he said?
He comes up. He comes up. Oh yeah, he did start bleeding right there.
Let me see. So he goes for the little like single.
Yep.
Oh, so right there.
Yep. So yeah, so but see, that's not a headbutt, right? So right there, when you guys watch that, DDP shoots in a single leg, comes up, and he's looking for head position. He's looking for head position to go underneath the neck, and Sean Strickland meets him. So a headbutt, your heads have to butt together, right? So I don't want to say it's Sean's fault that they have the headbutt, but when I'm looking there, that's good ass wrestling from DDP. Shoots him in a single leg, he sprawls, he comes up, goes directly to the head. The good head position by DDP. And it's an accident, right? So, but yeah, my bad. Yeah. Hey. So, but once again, do you think that, I mean, that happens all the time in wrestling. When you're wrestling, it's all about head position, right? So he shoots the takedown. He goes for the single leg. Sean Strickland defends the shot. He comes up into a good head position. He spears up, and then Sean Strickland meets him. Gets cut over his eye. It happens all the time. All the time. Dan, thank you for the $5. Everyone talking about a jab as a rangefinder, but also failed to realize check kicks are counted as strikes. How many of DDP's kicks were checked? Honestly, I don't know. I wasn't watching. I wasn't, Once again, this goes way back to the very beginning of the podcast, how we're discussing. How does the judges look at checked kicks? Right? How do they look at it? We don't know. They've never told us, right? Michael, can you look up right now on Google, say, how does the UFC score check kicks? Google knows everything.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out right now.
Like, just to find out, like, just so we can have a clear thing. Like, and I don't know any judges. Like, if I was judging the fight and he kicks him, I would just score. I don't know how I would score it. That's the problem. Like, I don't like scoring fights round by round. I like to sit down. If I saw DDP and Sean Strickland fight in the bar, I'll be like, yeah, I thought Sean Strickland won. That's how I look at it. You guys can hate me for that. I'm just being honest. I'm 16 and trying to make in MMA. What does it take to be the GOAT? You just got to train, baby. That's all you can do. Train. The answer is a lot of checks. It is a lot of checks. I mean, once again, it's all based. How do you, let me ask you guys a question. How do you score a check kick? Huh? If I kick you and you check it, how are you guys going to score it? Come on, chat. Tell me. I'm asking you guys a question. You guys on the hot seat. Danny 888. Did you always wonder how tall you are? How tall your parents? My dad's like 5'7", I think. Well, I was like 5'4", 5'3". No, she's like 5'2", actually. 1-1. Not much. Still a kick. Checking a kick hurts both fighters. Yes, checking a kick hurts both fighters. I'd rather eat the kick than check it, to be honest with you. Who quits first? Slapping up. Who quits first? Okay, check kick is just defense, bro. It is defense, but how are you going to score it? Like, for example, in boxing, you get points for being defensive, right? So Floyd would win rounds by just, blocking everything. Should you be scored? Should you get points by blocking people's stuff in mixed martial arts? I will score it for the kicker. No points for the checker. That's true. I mean, if I were to look at Street Fighter 6 terms, I like that concept because I'm forcing you to do something. I throw a kick. You have two choices. You got to check or you can eat it, right? But you don't have to check. So I'm taking the initiative to do something, right? Just like a jab. He throws a jab. I either slip it or I baseball catch it. I block, I defense. I shouldn't get points for defending it, right? He should get points. A jab's different though. If the jab lands, he gets a point. But if I move, it doesn't get anything, it doesn't land. But if I kick, it's going to land. Or actually, no. If you check it, you should not get points. The person who lands the kick should get half a point. If it lands flush, he should get 1 point. If he sachets it, it's null. Sachet means you avoid it. Okay, so it's like I said, man. It's a hard way to bake this pie. It really is. You can bake a pie so many different ways. You can bake it with gluten-free. You can bake it with the regular crust. You can bake it with apples, cherries, etc., etc. Like, maybe what we need is somebody on here, like a judge, to come on here, like, hey, welcome to MIGHTYcast. How do you score a fight? Right? Like, or yeah, I'm gonna ask ChatGPT. Let me ask ChatGPT real quick. Let me see. ChatGPT.
Yeah, for what it's worth, I Googled, but I didn't see anything. Yeah.
I'm asking AI. AI knows everything. Okay. Maybe later. Okay. How should judges score checked leg kicks in the UFC? All right, here we go, boys. In the UFC, judges typically score check leg kicks. Oh, here we go. We got something. Here we go. All right. Chat, get ready. This is truth because AI knows everything. Okay? You guys ready for it? Get ready. In the UFC, judges typically score checked leg kicks based on the effectiveness of the strikes and the impact they have on the fighters. When scoring checked leg kicks, judges consider several factors. Damage. Judges assess the damage caused by leg kicks. If a fighter consistently lands powerful leg kicks that visibly affect their opponent's movement or cause them to stumble or wince in pain, this will be taken into account. So I guess the judges got to have 20/20 because they got to look for people wincing in their eyes. 2, control. Judges look at how effectively the fighter controls the distance and timing, I like that, of their leg kicks. If a fighter is able to land clean leg kicks while avoiding significant counters, they may receive more favorable scores. Counterattacks. If a fighter effectively counters checked leg kicks with strikes or takedowns, judges may take this into consideration. Once again, based on their opinion, take in consideration. Overall impact. Judges consider the overall impact of leg kicks on the course of the fight. Accumulation of damage over the course of a bout can influence scoring. It's important to note that judges are instructed to evaluate the fight as a whole and not focus solely on one aspect, such as leg kicks. They must consider the overall effectiveness of both fighters' techniques, striking, grappling, octagon control, and effective aggressiveness when scoring a contest. So right there, effectiveness of both fighters' techniques, striking. Sean Strickland decided to go with punches. Okay, that's one form of striking. DDP went with striking with jabs, hooks, and kicks. He beats him on the striking. I'm not worried about who landed more. We're talking about technique-wise. Grappling. Sean Strickland displayed defensive grappling by getting back to his feet. DDP displayed grappling by taking him down. I don't think he defended a takedown from Sean Strickland because Sean Strickland didn't do it. Octagon control. I saw Sean Strickland backing up more than DDP. And effective aggressiveness. Since DDP was coming forward, he is shown as the aggressor when scoring the contest. It is also worth mentioning that judging in MMA can be subjective. Subjective means you're based on your opinion. And there can be instances of disagreement among judges and fans regarding the scoring of specific techniques. Ladies and gentlemen, we just solved this problem that everybody's having a hard time doing. But Tapio Atalu, thank you for the $5. My last one, I asked about your opinion on Bakao. I don't know if you saw it. I do Muay Thai, started in September, and if you check a kick, that's 0 points. Depending on where you're at, if it's in Thailand, they score it. That's what I've been told. I've been told that they score that. That's why you just see them keep throwing body kicks. And they keep checking them, and the guy who wins is the one who keeps throwing. And once again, it's based on where you're at, right? Muay Thai in America might be based off different, but I'm basing that scoring criteria based off of Thailand, which is the motherland of Muay Thai. What does it mean? Zara, thank you for that. 23. Strickland definitely 40, 50, 45. That one. Yeah, he probably did. Yeah, he did. He did 50, 45, that reporter. Michael, you got anything else for me? Chat. We're going to do a couple more questions, and then I'm going to go to the gym. What does it mean by this? What him talk about? What the hell are you talking about? What him talk about? Anonymous, thank you for the $2. I don't know what that means. Marty, please give me some advice. Charles Oliveira, fan 619. Be a good person. Limping in the fight. DDP Tank is amazing. When are you fighting Bradley Martin? Probably never. Wear a Speedo in your next fight. No, thank you. Get some G Fuel. Yes, sir. I want a black him out. We'll have a black him out, my friend. Go outside and smoke a black him out. Let me think. So if you guys really enjoyed the live version of the MIGHTYcast, please, let us know. Please leave a like. Right now there's 1,000 people in here and there's only 29 likes. So do you guys self a favor, or don't do yourself a favor. Do me a favor and Michael a favor as well. Please leave a like, hit that thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel. You take pre-workout? Yeah, I'm gonna go upstairs, literally take some G Fuel. My name is DJ. You're my idol. Big up to all DJs. That's what's up, baby. Game you pumped for 24. There's no games I'm really pumped for right now in 2024. Has anyone really been a fan of her? Like, it's a very here's I want to do one more closing statement before we get off. Has anyone really been far even as decided to use even go want to look more? What the fuck? Has anyone really been far even as decided to use even go want to look for? You just fucking with me. That's what you're doing. Thank you for the $5 though. For fucking with me. Dan, leave it at $5. This is the problem with MMA scoring. Defense is basically null in scoring with blocking. If I check hurts, both fighters, both should get credit. Yeah, I mean, that's true, Dan. It definitely it hurts both fighters. There's times in a fight when I check, it depends how pissed off I am, right? Because there's sometimes when somebody kicks me and then they kick in, I check and I was like, yeah, motherfucker, it's game time. Let's go. I'm going to check that shit. Keep throwing. I'm going to keep checking. And there's time I was like, oh, I'm not checking that. Like calf kicks, they fucking hurt. They hurt. I mean, February, we got some bangers. I mean, but before February, we have that one championship card. That's going to be sick. Make sure you guys check that out. Any seminars in New York area? No, not anytime soon. I think next we're going to be in Chicago. Am I still fighting? Yes. Do you think Sean got robbed? No, I do not. Big Shot MMA debut? Should be fun. Let me think. Michael, we missing anything? Anything else you want to hit on before we get off here?
No, not missing anything, but just wanted to say pretty much repeat what you did. That if you guys enjoy these live shows, let us know. Doesn't mean we're not going to still do the interviews, and like you said, we'll repeat it again. Tyron Woodley is going to be our next guest, and it was a pretty. I think you guys are going to like it a lot because he was fired up. Hit on a lot of interesting topics. Gave us a lot of good tidbits. So we'll still do those exclusive interviews. We're going to get at least a couple of those a month, but we just thought if it's the two of us vibing, we might as well make it live, get you guys involved. So we're going to try to make this, a weekly, maybe bi-weekly thing, but let us know if you liked it, and keep those super chats coming.
It'll be bi-weekly. I like my time to do whatever the fuck I want to do. But
okay, yeah, maybe bi-weekly then. Yeah.
But before we get off here, I want to do a closing statement. OG Gardner, thank you for the 499. Hey, Mighty, how would you like to see the judging change for the UFC? I have no idea. I honestly don't know how. I don't know. I honestly do not know. And when I say that, I'm truly saying I do not know. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I truly do not know. But before I get off here, I want to say one thing. Guys, I think Sean Strickland is an absolutely amazing athlete. He has a certain style. He has demeanor. His mental capacity is by far one of the best athletes out there to be able to walk forward and implement that style of the Philly shell style. Okay, I want to get that out there. DDP is absolutely amazing athlete. All the guys who step inside the cage, ring, whatever it may be, they're all amazing athletes. Right? For them to do what they do takes a lot of balls, a lot of courage, a lot of bravery. It takes a lot of skill set to get out there and compete in front of millions of people around the world. So when I give my analysis and I am just speaking my honest truth, it's not saying this person sucks or this, da, 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 da. Like for me, I wish I had more knockouts. I wish I stood there and bit down more in the mouthpiece and threw heavy shots and try to get everybody knocked out. But I wasn't gifted with the power to one-hitter quitters, right? I was gifted with the elusiveness to be able to go from different forms of martial arts and do different things, right? Somebody said this to me the other day. They said, nowadays in mixed martial arts, meta is well-roundedness, right? If you guys don't know meta means it's the best thing to strive for. When you play Escape from Tarkov, you're looking for the meta. When you play Call of Duty, you're looking for the meta gun, the gun that's going to be able to solve every problem if you ever get in this situation. So the meta in mixed martial arts is to be well-rounded. Is Sean Strickland meta? He probably has a skill set to be meta, but he chooses not to be meta. Same thing, but DDP was trying to be meta, and he would take downs and, clinching and all that stuff. But sometimes people can't reach meta in a fight because their styles don't really mesh very well. So I just wanted you guys to know that, because there's a lot of people out there who, when I give this final, when I say things like, oh man, Sean Strickland just does a Philly shell style, what I'm saying is absolutely correct. That's factual. That's what he does. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's very limiting. That's all it is. That's not a bad thing. So at the end of the day, we can all have hard conversations and be able to sit down and listen to everybody's opinions and digest each other's opinions and look at it different ways, not looking at it as a negative connotation. It's like, oh, Demetrious Johnson sees Sean Strickland Philly shell style as a very unique style approaching mixed martial arts. Doesn't mean it's negative. Doesn't mean it's positive. It's the way he approaches it. Just like my style, how I approach all my fights, or even how I do jiu-jitsu. I approach it as a martial artist way. I'm looking for the angle. I'm looking for my opponent's weakness. So, but ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for the donations. We truly appreciate it. Okay, read Demetrious Strickland through and land way more total strikes all around. But most importantly, he landed more total strikes in the head in every round. Yeah, tell it to the judges. Thank you guys so much. You guys have a wonderful night. Make sure you guys leave a comment, like, also the bell if you're new to the channel. I am your host, and my co-host, your friend, Michael Wandover. We have some more videos dropping this week. Once again, one championship. Do we have a trailer for that, Michael?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, we do. Let me, if you want to, I could go I'll play that trailer right now. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Guys,
So
go take a look at the
now-
trailer. This is going to be happening this weekend. Run it, Michael. Run that shit.
The greatest martial arts heroes and warriors are here in Tokyo today. Kickboxing superstar Takeru. Super left. Shinya Aoki. A super fight for the ages.
Like I said, that's available this weekend. That's available this weekend. We're going to be breaking down some of those fights, Super League versus Rotang and Takura versus Tenshin. And make sure you guys like, subscribe, also leave a comment. Michael, I think it was very successful, man.
No, it was a lot of fun. Join us. We'll try to make it. So right now, yeah, we'll try to do it every other Monday. I think we'll work out. And like I said, look forward next week dropping Tyron Woodley. That was a really fun one. Like I said, I think this one's good. You guys liked Mike Perry a lot, so I think this was going to be a lot of fun too. He was a lot of fun topics we hit on. Just KSI, Dylan Dennis, UFC.
Oh yeah, all that shit. All that shit.
Oh man, you guys are gonna love that stuff. So we'll get that next week, and week after we'll do another live one.
Yes, sir. All right, boys, we out. GG's. Yeah.